Hello everybody and welcome. We're D&D Boyband, a group of friends all like to be D&D pretty boys because apparently it's not fantasy unless everybody's hot. My name is Jamie and and joining me tonight are a group of fantastic D&D players. First of all, we have Ben as Mercy, and I've completely messed that up already.
Okay. Bless the usual maker and his water.
Sai as Quan.
Hello.
And Eski as Pod.
Hello, hello.
Fluid as Casimir. And Luke as Arvis.
Hello, respectfully.
All right. So before we begin, I don't know if we have any announcements. Okay. Other than we may be missing a session end of June, but we will get back to everyone on that. Okay. Last session, we tried something a little bit experimental. You guys had a bit of chatting, but it was also discussing kind of your downtime. You have spent 2 weeks, so 24 days in the City of the Dead, kind of getting to know some research, learning about various orders that were happening, attempting to find out about what had been happening in the wider Lukai, obviously learning that Alara was dead, that they're trying to turn the frogs gay, and just generally not rolling super well on some stuff. You've also learned a bit more about blood magic, potentially learned a bit more about the history of Lukai with the War of Shame, and I believe, as discussed, your present attempts, or what we're going to try to do this session, or what you're going to try to do this session, is a heist the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy. Who are here to basically make atonements, or as much as they can do, about during the pilgrimage of repentance, which began about 10 days ago. And the leadership of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy have come together with this leadership of the Mystic Academia to mourn those who were lost during the Wars of Shame. D&D Boyband, I believe you have some decisions to make. I've given you a brief description of where these people are staying, but I will throw it back to you. How do you want to begin? You have all, after your various minutes of research, returned to the Raven's Roost. It'd be good to clarify what your plan is, why you're going there, and what you're going to do. Yes, the Raven's Roost. You've all responded after your various days of researching, finding out what you were going to do, but you all know that this is the next stage of the plan, that you've, I suppose, broadly decided that you need to investigate the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy. They're in town, they're here, why not? Yes. Yes. So some of you dedicated time during your during your downtime to finding out information. This is what you have found on these factions. If you want more, I can go into everything, but with that time, you have got a rough idea of the building, some guards, where they're staying, what their plans are for today. My brain is not actually with it today. I will go into more. The passing of pride. No. The passing of pride is the name of the ceremony they are attending today.
I was about to say how thematic, but
Mercy kind of looks over at Arvis and says, well, unless you have something more than what we've talked about, I think we had discussed our small friend sneaking unseen through the shadows, somewhat distracted by me as a unobtrusive member of the serving staff.
Yeah, well, first question now. What's on the menu? What are you serving?
I won't actually be serving anything because it's a ruse.
Just saying, like, if somebody asks you what's on the menu, you got to know what's on the menu, don't you?
I think Arvis makes a good point, actually.
Okay, well, I will have to familiarise myself with common dishes that might be served in Alarafa because I don't actually know.
So crops don't actually grow very well in this province of the world, and animals are therefore fairly sparse. Most of the food is imported either from Flameblade Syndicate or from
They have
some,
taxes.
actually no, so no, some
Also
bits of
great
it are arid desert. The other bits, however, are volcanic land that is incredibly fertile.
They import food from Sacramar.
Food, yeah.
Oh. Well, I could claim to be any kind of diminutive role, candle lighter, some sort of cleaner. The point is, the intent will be for me to go unseen or unnoticed largely, and for Arvis to go completely unnoticed. But that was as far as we got, and without factoring any kind of magic. Believe we'd looked at perhaps the second floor as well for personal keepsakes or any kind of personal item which might have similar information. A journal, perhaps, which is non-official. Such things, if they're felt not to be disclosed, then perhaps there is more information to be gleaned from them.
You do know that obviously the leadership of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy is here, so you don't know quite how much they would have brought, but certainly the upper echelons are here, including Archprelate Cassian Virio, who is the leader.
I imagine they won't be very forthcoming verbally with anything to complete strangers, so detect thoughts may be the way.
I was sort of contemplating our little investigation taking place at a time of some sort of official engagement, joint ritual, or something that would draw the group definitively away. You could potentially, under the same pretense, be attending the event to pay your respects, but I was very much considering doing this at a time where the building will naturally be unoccupied.
Yeah, so they are going to be going to the Passing of Pride, which is a symbolic festival. Detailed a tiny bit in the thing, but I can give you more details if you need. That they will all be out. Well, those who will be attending the ceremony will be gone.
Now, there are a few features I do believe about this building we should consider. I suspect it won't simply be a walk down the park, a walk through the halls. There'll be arcane security as well as physical security. Now, the physical security features, I believe I should be able to handle with some amount of ease. Magical may present a problem. Well, in my time, there are certain, regrettably, certain locks one might come across whose skill set as a locksmith just ain't working, mate. It's magic.
Odd kind of tentatively raises his hand. I can dispel magic. I can dispel magic. Yeah, I can. He looks, his face lights up. He's very excited.
Mercy kind of looks up. And what about your dexterity? Or can you move quietly, do you think?
I'm much better at moving quietly than I was in the past.
Okay. Well, perhaps Pod could join you and me, Arvis, as our resident anti-magic tool.
Arvis locks his two red beady eyes on Pod. They do that thing where he pauses for a moment and they go left to right. to left to right.
You fancy yourself a bit of a quiet bloke, do you, eh, Pod?
I mean, not normally, but I can be on demand.
Pod, everyone close their eyes. Pod, I want you to walk around the room, take your shoes off, and try and walk around the room without any of us hearing you.
Question, DM: are we like in like the bar, like of the?
Yeah,
Where are we
absolutely.
actually?
Well, like, you guys are staying in the room, so if you want to be in the rooms upstairs having this slightly illicit conversation, fine. Or if you want
Yes.
to,
That's just like crime out in the open.
We would not be doing this in the fucking bar.
In earshot of like everyone.
Fucking Brian, who
Brian's
yeah.
there. He's just.
sup.
Okay. Sure. He says as he starts kind of removing his shoes. Like now?
Why taking your shoes off, mate?
He said take your shoes off.
It will help him be quieter.
Wouldn't I be wearing shoes normally?
Okay, Pod, put your shoes back on.
You'd only taken one off at that point, so he starts putting the other shoe back on. And I guess how do you want?
How do you
How
want to do
do
this?
this? Do you want me to? You want me to roll?
Yeah, no, you're rolling. Yeah, of course you're rolling.
Alright, what am I rolling? Like stealth, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. He attempts to creep around the room. Is a 10 plus 2. That's a 12.
A 12.
26.
It's like perception's fine. Like, it's very obvious. It's a reasonable attempt, but nothing compared to what you and Arvis have been able to achieve. And there's a couple of creaks of floorboards, and it makes some noises as it happens, and you don't struggle.
He's just quite ungainly and lanky. Like, agility is not his thing. I mean, he's definitely got more dexterous. I've been leveling dex, like, since you've known him, but that's still not an impressive amount of dexterity. Like,
Odd.
He's not wrong. It is an improvement, but an improvement from garbage is still not great.
Answer honestly. How do you think you did on that exercise?
He like pauses. He looks very nervous. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't the best, but I'm not really the sneak about kind of like A to B. I can, I can go over there without actually having to walk, or I can be completely invisible, or I can look like somebody else. That's kind of like how I would get around.
Okay. So
Just
maybe
kind of like sneaking is not really.
maybe moving quietly isn't the best use of your skills. Maybe, as you say, it's more of a disguise. And
I can disguise. I can definitely disguise.
and Mercy kind of begins to kind of bubble again, and I will shape change into, I guess like a Quan-looking person, a human, like shoulder length blonde hair, very straight, flaxen, kind of tan skin, and go like this, Pod. Now say, to praise Tyr is the greatest form of devotion.
He quite effortlessly becomes like the disguise is pretty convincing. Like it's not like his skills in being able to disguise are quite natural. They come naturally to the furbolgs in general. However, as soon as he says he copies the same words, it's in his normal accent. He sounds exactly like he normally would. Like the voice doesn't change at all. There's not even an attempt really to change it, but like he looks the part.
What do the rest of you think? Convincing?
Why I served what? Oh wait, are we serving drinks or are we waiters? I can't remember. I forgot my backstory. You're gonna have to remind me of my backstory.
Korn looks baffled. Yes, Casimir, that was great.
Um,
I'm not sure if that's necessary.
maybe like half yell? Half yell. Kind of thinks to himself, he's like, I'm here to repent for my terrible crimes during the War of Shame. As a Paladin of Tyr. He doesn't catch the sarcasm or in any, it's completely over his head. I killed a man. Multiple men. 2 men. At least 2 men. Maybe a third, I don't remember.
Do you know what? Pod, roll a deception check. With disadvantage.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck is deception? I've lost it. Oh, there it is. With disadvantage. Okay. I managed to roll. I already just rolled in that one. So there you go. Yeah. Cool.
Natural
That
one,
makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. First time was in that one.
Yeah. You believe it as much as Eski is selling it.
Yep.
He just comes across as very confused.
Pod, try to if we can work on some stock phrases, perhaps. Let's say, smite the devil and all his foul energies.
Would you
I'm
like
wondering,
some
like, we can
phrases
work-
that the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy say to each other?
Yes,
So
please,
Tears
thank you.
worship. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please.
In-
know some
I can,
phrases.
maybe we can workship this a little bit, but like, how about a vow of silence?
Oh,
Ooh,
I like that. Like that.
that could also work.
You,
Vow of
you
silence. I'm pretty impressed, mate.
and that's very convincing. You've taken a vow of silence to not speak until the world is rid of evil.
Exactly. Absolutely. Just gonna shake my head and be ashamed.
Paladin Podrick, would you like a cup of wine?
And kind of shakes his
Yeah.
head and looks very very disappointed.
Yeah, bravo. Good. Good. That was a test. I was seeing if you would remember that you're silent.
Any of you want some? Any of you who want some phrases for tier worshippers, we can play a chat.
I'm curious as well.
Oh wow, purity through law.
Your mum's a what?
Quite like the last one as well.
It's quite
Has
extreme, man.
has Quan ever said any of these?
What, sorry?
Has Quan ever said any of these?
No.
Just in general conversation. I feel like
No.
the light
Not
of
a
the
single
just-
time.
I'm feeling pretty inadequate right now, seeing as all of my friends have apparently been more paladinly than I have.
It's Quan believing everything Pod says.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate this stereotype actually.
To who? Me or the group?
Imagine stereotyping in Pride Month.
Exactly.
Paladins.
This is a hate crime.
Paladins Pride Month.
Well, Pod, I'm sure we can coordinate on some further phrases but I'm glad we have a
I
plan
will-
now.
Just be as low profile as possible. No conversations, no talking. And then when you need me, you just let me know.
And Arvis, do you have a disguise at all, or are you planning on sort of flitting from shadow to shadow, as it were?
Well, I can do a bit of both for that, actually, mate. Usually I do reserve the disguises for an exfiltration if things go milkers up, you know. You've got to have something up your sleeve.
Given unless you have some sort of appearance, illusion, shape-shifting abilities, I thought a squire might be appropriate for you to sort of be with either Pod or myself as a servant to learn a paladin.
Arvis raises an eyebrow and is like,
A squire, mate. You think I've got what it takes to be a squire, eh?
Well,
What kind of leans over to Casimir? What's a milk? After Arva says, if it goes milkers up, Pod goes, what's a milker? I don't want milk.
oh, wow. That's deep.
Mm,
Yeah. That's racist.
Yeah.
That is racist.
That is racist.
Casual racism is fine in D&D.
the
Just to
furbolgs.
check, I can see in chat somebody says can't hear Casimir. Is it worth checking people can hear Casimir?
Oh no! Oh no! Have you muted self?
Hmm?
Oh no!
Dear, oh dear.
Have you been muted this whole time?
Thank good for this for Nicoya.
Well, you know, without the context, all we can say is the Casimir just said something incredibly racist.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Absolutely.
unforgivable, frankly.
Out of character, does Pod feel any affinity towards cows?
Isn't he more like a goat?
Yeah, more goat than cow.
Feels
More
more
go-
goat than cow. I mean, you
Fine.
know, he's speech of beast and leaf. He likes all animals.
Ah,
But like
I should be audible
goats
now.
in particular.
I had
His
a
diet, you may have noticed, is mostly just like fish or vegetarian. He doesn't actually eat much meat.
I had a suspect message when I started Streamlabs. This must be what it was. But now we're
Oh.
fixed.
Yay!
Sweet, all good. Continue. Yeah, I
We
just
were
Daddy's
just
back in the room.
I
we
said
were
the
just
fur bug was a
discussing-
cow.
Pod's genetic closeness to cows.
Not sure about genetic closeness, but you know,
You got cow ears, haven't you?
kind of, yeah.
All
Are
right.
they goat ears?
Are they?
He's
don't know.
large.
Also,
Goats
under
You
eat
decide.
themselves.
goat's milk.
You're
Goats get milked.
your plotting
also
and
milk,
your
yeah.
plan
Oh yeah,
before
sorry.
we
Oh,
get
yes.
too derailed.
Yeah, honestly, mate, I struggle with the whole post-sailing thing. It's not really my forte, mate. I suppose having been a bit of a bloke my whole life, and now being a bit of a rat, bit of a bloke the rest of my life.
So that's what you said.
Honestly, Arbus, I don't really see a need for you to adopt a persona. Right? You're wholly excellent at staying in the shadows, as Mercy said. And if you are discovered, then we need some form of escalation, some way to raise the alarm that something has gone awry on one of our ends. I imagine we'll be fairly close together inside the building, but we won't always know where each other are. I mean,
Old mate of mine used to have a pair of these fucking beautiful pair of sending stones that we used to use on heists, and you could send messages to and from one another with ease. It was really something, mate. Don't know where he got them though. Don't know where we could get them.
Well, maybe we could check the markets, although I have to confess I am rather out of money, so I can't contribute, I'm afraid.
We could certainly check the markets. I'm sure such a tool, but I think a sending stone perhaps would only be useful prior to any sort of apprehension, what do we do if someone is caught?
Leave them to
Scatter.
die.
I mean,
Okay,
maybe don't leave them to die,
agreed.
but we could scatter.
And then leave them to die. No, we'll figure it out. Listen, I reckon if Quan and I successfully pull off the notion that he and I are dignitaries of Alara's, then we could probably pull rank and demand blah blah blah. We know the Archon. I mean, she hates me and will probably throttle me at the first opportunity, but you never know. I can be charming when I want to be.
Perhaps any who are apprehended, simply claim the stature of the crime is much lower than what it actually is. You're a common thief here to steal gold. You're a beggar who's come too far. You're a strong heretic.
I'm a
Of-
fan of Cassio? What's their name, DM?
Cassian Vero.
Arch Prelat Cassian Vero.
Huge fan of Archprelat Cassian Vilo. I've not said that right. That's how big a fan I am. And I just really wanted to see them in the flesh. Oopsie, didn't realise they were out at prayer. Etc.
Indeed, etc. I'm sure we could adapt.
We are not here on international espionage. Certainly not at the behest of What's-Her-Face of Dominus.
No.
Good. Very good. Well,
Paladin pod, are you all clear?
He gives a thumbs up, like he's role playing the vow of silence.
Well done.
I think it'll work. Very good. I'm quite
Cheeky
excited.
man, eh? Fucking ice man, eh? No one's getting through you, eh, Pod, eh?
Oh, on that subject, we need paladinly names. So perhaps Casimir or Quan, you could help us with those.
Quan, I believe this is your arena.
Tim, have I met enough paladins since my memory has been to know?
Probably not a huge amount relative to the group. So like, you give it a go.
Yes, well, I think for you, Mercy, perhaps Sir Reginald would be a good name.
Okay, just Sir Reginald, or do I have a family name as well?
Well, perhaps you. He looks really stumped.
How about
Once they name
How
themselves,
about
Tyr,
you know.
Tyr, Reginald Tyr.
McJustice?
Did you the wise, the
What
great, the
about-
grand?
Quan,
How about Sir Keir?
Quan, do you have a last name, or are you just Quan? I can't
I thought
believe
Guam was your last name, mate.
we've been travelling together for months, and I don't know if you have a last name or not.
Well, it would seem that you know as much as I do, unfortunately.
Ah, amnesia. Yes, good.
I suppose that's it. Is your name actually Quan, or was Quan just the first name that you remembered? Or
Well, I suppose there is a slim chance that the name I remember being called is in fact not my name, but I'm fairly certain.
interesting.
Could be Podrick the Quiet. Except if anyone asks me, I won't tell them.
Podrick the Quiet.
Okay, I am Sir Reginald McJustice.
Fit right in.
I will fit right in.
And of course, remember, you're
Definitely
not
not a
from
shape-changer.
you're not from
Do
the
not question
ecclesiarchy,
it.
as none of you have your glowing golden eyes, what you ought to. So you are offshore members.
Are we capable of like glamoring golden eyes?
That's
or
a
in any
good
way?
memory from Lucifer.
You
Shit.
mind IRL, my friend.
Oh shit. Fair. I am an offshore devotee of Tyr.
But they think it's weird that there's so many outsiders.
Where should I say I'm from?
Just from here. You're from the local area. The delegation arrived, and you thought you would finally see your kin.
Good. Yes. Excellent idea, Casimir.
Maybe, frankly, you're on your way to the 4th floor to the prayer rooms. You're not here to steal anything at all. Got lost.
This is a good plan. I feel good about this.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
so Reginald McJustice. Vow of silence. The finalized plan is it so Arvis is trying to stealth in. The rest of you are going in through the front door.
No, I think Quan and I are going through the
I thought-
front door. Mercy and the others are all stealthing in, but should they be discovered, they have their personas and their reasons for being.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. What are the ways into this place? Or do we not know yet?
I
Like,
mean,
is there a way to kind of inconspicuously
you definitely could
enter?
scale. Yeah, there are windows. There are kind of open rooms on the top. The roof itself is kind of a ceremony area / thing that there is a staircase that leads to and from the roof that you could go down. There's a front door and a rear door. You could try either of them.
Are there like, how many people are going to this event?
How many people are going where? Sorry,
This event?
hundreds.
Hundreds. Yeah. Well, I mean, surely are they guest listing everyone at the door? Because I guess if they're guest listing, then
No. So the event's not at the zero. This is where the people are staying who are
I see, I
going
see.
to the event. You're gonna try to heist while they're not there.
I see.
Some of the people staying, the important people who are staying.
Got it. So there will be security.
I'll just try and be a proper Karen and distract the security.
Just distract the guards. We'll do what we can.
Yeah.
I'll start blowing things up if it gets spicy.
So it's first plan is basically just to go in the lobby and see if we can just sort of walk by people. Is that the general vibe, or are we trying to like infiltrate, like scale the side of the pyramid, like climb in a window, and then if we get caught, we use the covers?
I don't think we should arrive together. I think maybe Quan and I go first. If it's easy for us to get into the lobby, you just waltz in like some little while after us. If it's like if we have to talk our way in, then I think you'd be sneaking.
Okay, cool.
So in terms of the indeed. Question for our Master of Dungeons. In terms of places that are, let's say, sneaky by definition, whether it be the sewers, whether it's a particular face of the building that doesn't have, it could be scaled, but perhaps in some way doesn't have a lot of eyes on it. Is it particularly dark in the evening? Like, what are the kind of like you see as
Yeah, so obviously the building is naturally steeped in appearance, so there are certainly levels. It is not a difficult building to imagine scaling. The issue is more how many of them are watched, like you'd imagine. So there are certainly the building stands a little bit apart from those around it. However, there are long shadows that cast. There isn't a huge amount of light in this part of the city. A lot of it is taken up by the Soul Spire or reflected back. And certainly in the twilight, you imagine it might be hard to see. The back exits are less used than the front. The front kind of opens up onto a large courtyard, and then there's kind of the dial in the center, and each one pointing towards the accommodation of, or the assumed accommodation of most of each province of Lukai when they come here. So you would probably attempt to be trying to get around the back. You'd also probably choose a time when the energies passing through the Soul Spire were a little waning, so they weren't casting such a light from down onto the city below them. There are probably servants' entrance and exits. There are probably sewers. These are all options you could attempt to explore.
So in terms of climbing the building itself, scaling some of the walls,
Yeah.
Like how obvious are some of the approaches? Do you know what I mean? Like how is it just like, oh, everyone can see you from the entire city doing exactly what you're doing, or is it?
No, like I'd imagine, like from a 360 point of view, I'd imagine about like 270, 280 degrees of this are quite forward facing. There's probably that back bit that isn't as obvious to the general street. And like it's not fenced around. It kind of sits on its own. There are, stairs leading upwards to the main entrance and down the back, which are guarded. You've seen, but there's not like gardens around or anything. So you could certainly attempt to skulk either around the buildings or the ones next to it in the dark.
Cool.
I'm definitely voting for servants' entrance for Pod and I. I think chances of scaling unseen is.
So Pod can actually swap his disguise quite a few times in one long rest. So I guess he'd probably try and go in via the service entrance looking like a servant, and then maybe swap to the look of a guard if it's more appropriate. Going Hitman style, just changing identities as you move through the area.
Like servant and then maybe paladin.
Whatever Mercy decides to do, Pod will attempt to copy to the best of his ability. Not quite as incredible a disguise as I'm sure an assassin changeling is capable of, but still does the part from as long as you're not like staring too closely.
I think it'll be fine. Arvis, do you want to come with, or do you want to try and find a different way in?
Oh, I'm not so confident in my disguise and in my yapping, mate, so I feel like I should try and find another way in. But that does sound a little risky, especially going alone.
DM, the sewers, is much known. Do we know much about it? Is it something we would have had time to look at and investigate?
I will say, given that nobody asked it last time, no. Alarafa is an ancient city. The sewers themselves would be equally ancient. I would say, your instincts are that the city would have just been built upon itself over and over. The sewers are some parts are newer, some parts are older. You know that as just a guy, just a normal bloke, that the sewers are often also where a lot of skullduggery occurs, in a place like here with many years and whole parts of the sewers either being collapsed or built over. They might have become refuge for some unsavory characters. I would say that you would be aware that the sewers might present a safer route from being discovered. There would definitely be places you could try to come up in the building, but you might also have to deal with whatever chooses to make their home or do their business down in the sewers. In a place like the City of the Dead.
Yeah, okay, all right. Say no more, Chief. Say no more. In that case, yeah, fuck the sewers. Cool. Okay, all right. I'm finding it kind of hard to visualize the sort of how effective Arvis would think, how appropriate the different attempts and approaches would be to try and get in without trying to, swanker one's way in.
Yeah.
What would you say Arvis would think is the...
Arvis thinks that if he chose the right light and the right time, he could certainly attempt to scale the building. He might be unsure about getting to the higher levels that are clearly more visible. So maybe choosing a floor and attempting to go in, or attempting to very quickly run up the top. I'd say you have two things. You can either go for a lower level floor that's safer and you might not be seen, or you scamper to the top incredibly quickly and hope people miss you. In terms of other methods, obviously the sewers, you could try to go closer. You could try to do that, or you could attempt to sneak in, as you know, with the servants or with other people and blend in.
Sounds like I'll go for some climbing, mate.
Yeah. There are certainly areas that if you choose the right time and light that are obscured enough.
Would like a later and less bright time conflict with anybody else's plans?
Possibly
Right.
the Quasimir distraction team.
Yeah, you'd probably want to coincide with us.
And you
Because I
guys
imagine they want to
daytime
go in
work.
at not like the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, we're specifically trying to cause a bit of a scene, or at least talk to paladins and engage them. Like, I think we'll try and get ourselves into the office floor, and insist on waiting, and then just cause a bit of irritation for the paladins up there, I think is the angle I'm going for.
Yeah, 5e invisibility. Does anybody have the invisibility spell?
So,
on which they
I have
ample spell slot?
I have greater invisibility. It is my single 4th level. We could use it to guarantee you are unseen. I was also thinking we're nervous. No, I have faith in Sir Podrick. I don't think Sir Podrick needs to be made invisible. I believe. Greater invis is an hour. It does mean then I won't have something like a polymorph if I need to do something saucy.
Yeah, I think greater would be overkill. But do you think that for this mission you might prepare if you have it among your roster?
I don't have
just
standard
standard
invis.
invis?
I don't have it.
Got it. Could we scroll it?
We can, yeah. Like, how much money do we have as a group? Because so what I'm thinking is we do a quick spin around the markets for heist equipment, see how much sending stones are, and
Well,
yeah.
if we can get a scroll of invis, why not just pay for Casimir to get it, right?
Oh, true. Because I
Wasn't
can
to learn it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, how long do we have till the day? Because I'll need time to write it down in the
Yeah.
spellbook. It might be that we're paying for single use, but if we have enough time, I can learn it.
Jameis.
You can.
How much time do we have
Do we have
till the?
Oh, I'm saying you're planning this for like 1-2 days, so you have time.
I have time to learn it.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe if we do a market trip, we do how much money? So I have no money, I'm afraid, that I can put towards this. I spent my final 50 gold paying off Merkel people.
You have a contact name.
Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah, I can put the money towards this. I think we have some money.
I'm just deep.
It is
in
joint
debt.
money though, so
Yeah.
I have to get Pod's permission to spend it as well.
You want a permission for, sorry?
Yeah, I definitely got some bits.
Yeah.
The question for Pod, wasn't it?
Pod, can I chuck a couple of 100 gold to this endeavor, like getting a scroll of invis?
Yeah,
and
of course.
Maybe trying to find some selling.
Like
stones?
honestly, as a signer, you don't even have to ask to spend gold. Anytime you ask Pod, like, do you think it's appropriate I should spend gold? You just
I know,
yeah,
but
just like,
Est-
yeah, sure, yeah,
Estimate
go
feel
for it. Mate.
differently, and I feel bad.
All right.
I'm sticking to what my character would do, and he has no concept of money.
Fine. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have any concept of the cost of a pair of sending stones?
So given this is lots of people travel here, lots of magical artisans, lots of traveling, I would say you can find a significant amount of quite basic magical items. Of which sending stone is one. Let me find the cost of a pair of sending stones. 300 gold pieces.
Oh, that's so worth. Do we have that as a group, as a party purchase?
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got a grand.
Because I reckon
I mean,
Arvis
Master's
needs.
Prime does.
I think Arvis definitely needs one because he's going to be going in alone. Quasimir will be easy to find because we'll be making noise and you know where we are. So maybe one for Arvis and then one for the other half of the stealth team. You can meet up. I guess.
It's good. I have the message spell, but it's obviously unreliable unless I know somebody's like through a wall.
I guess you can assume you'll know where we are, but maybe it's a gamble that you might not hit a paladin or something with message.
Yeah. Holy shit! Can I actually craft these replicate magical item?
Oh.
No, I can't. If I level up, I can switch something out, but
Any free level ups in chat?
Jack giving out free level ups.
Okay, all right. So then let's do it. We're dropping our
Cool.
money.
And the scroll, do we know how much that was going to cost, rough?
400 normally. It's oh wait, what level's the spell?
Second.
Third.
Second.
Second.
Oh,
Second,
second.
300.
Hey.
300 then. It's 100 plus 100 for each level.
Cool.
Okay.
I actually am looking at my equipment. I honestly can't remember if I sold this stuff or not. I've got 2 rubies and 3 emeralds coming to 5 grand.
Probably not. I don't think we talked about it.
Then I got 5 grand as well worth of gems,
Oh my god.
emeralds and rubies. Any of it? Is it just diamonds that are like for revivification, revivify?
I swear those. I swear the
Yeah.
rubies
Yes.
were magical as well, though, weren't they?
It
I
does
think something else, but nothing on my list.
If they're the rubies from the Arakocra temple, I swear they were magical.
Probably why they're worth so much.
Yes.
Okay, so Sugar Father Arvis, how much are you putting in? Can we just say we go, we spend it, we do the thing, so we're ready to go, DM?
Yep. Let's get the show on
We
the
try and
road.
get a
you
discount.
guys.
I can drop a persuasion roll behind it with some borrowed knowledge.
Sure.
I will drop my usual trick of using borrowed knowledge to have the spirits of Alaratha give me some
Nice.
dirt on shopkeepers or just tell me a bit more about their lives. So I'm a bit more personable when speaking to them.
Cool.
So I roll with my proficiency plus my charisma modifier. So that'll be a high score 16 plus 21.
21. Could you also make a perception
Oh.
check while you're walking around town?
Perception.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that, Casimir, you would also receive guidance as Arvas comes over to you and just goes, "Hey, what does this smell like?" And he just sort of puts a little jar up to your nose. And as you sniff it, you get a slight head rush. And he
Lemon.
goes, "I think you'll be all right in there."
Starry-eyed. Yeah, he does think. Okay, so 21 plus 2, 23.
It's like drugs.
Perception check.
Also a perception
No.
check.
Just Casimir or everyone?
Just Casimir.
3 minus 1 for a 2.
Okay,
He's
you don't see it.
blissfully unaware, skipping along in his
Anyway,
bone outfit.
I'd say 20% discount based on that roll.
20% discount.
Nice.
And our
On
total
the 2 items.
is 600.
Yep. So 480.
Wait, good.
So,
All right. So you are now in possession of a sending scroll and is it sending scroll? Sorry.
I shall
Visibility.
Sending stones.
roll my
Sending
things
stones.
to
Sending
copy.
stones.
Yeah. So I'll roll my thing to copy the invis spell into my wizard book. I need to roll very low to fail this. I need some success, and I've rolled
Mhm.
10, 8 plus my Arcana. So I think it's like a minimum
that
of
distance,
12,
if you want it.
and I have to roll 1s
Okay.
and 2s. This is fine. Yeah, I've rolled a load of dice in area 1 or 2 insight.
Great. Good. So you've copied it in. The rest of you are, if nothing has happened, you begin making your way in kind of slightly towards the end of the day, towards Ziggurat, to where the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy delegation are staying. Any other final preparations, or should I begin kind of describing what you see?
So
Cool.
Casimir, you're going to hit Arvus with an invisibility to get up the side, or
Yep.
to get initially in, and then afterwards we're on our own, and you're gonna diversion.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to. I think borrowed knowledge is not concentration, so I'm going to use that on myself again for persuasion if I need to make any persuasion-y rolls with paladins. So I'm rolling all that with proficiency.
Okay.
FYI.
Sure. So making your way through Alarafa, as I said, it's kind of on that cusp of afternoon to evening. There's not a huge amount of light here, and it's all kind of permeated by a bit of grey mist or the soul energy that's kind of flowing through the city towards the Soul Spire at all times. Grey marble streets, although it's a city that you perhaps get the sense you might imagine from like far away or as dreary, but actually the marketplace, certainly the front of the city where you're all staying, is lively. It is a mercantile civilization. Almost all food is imported or exported here. Tourism is massive. You get lots of people who clearly are either here for morning. The streets are busy, is what I'm trying to say. And as you move forward, it gets less and less busy as you approach more of the inner parts of the city further on. This is where more of the temples are, where more of the kind of official institutes of learning are, a lot of where you have all spent your time and your research. Soul energy coalesces around, and kind of the mist gets ever so thicker as you move further and further in. There are multiple references to lots of different gods here, although obviously the Raven Queen, Raven motifs are omnipresent. As you arrive in your destination, this is a most cities in Lukai and a lot of things seem to have some kind of, or most capital cities, some kind of central courtyard where each of the 12 preserves have a representative building there, almost like a temple or something where they stay. This is where the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy are staying. This is their traditional refuge when they visit the City of the Dead, or at least representatives of that state, almost like an embassy. As I mentioned in my notes, the Mystic Academia's one was left abandoned for a while and has been repurposed, as they did not have enough to man it after the Wars of Shame. So theirs is a little further away than the others. However, the others are sparsely guarded. You see, members of the Flameblade Syndicate, or Asmodeus, or Geb's Church, Aarakocra from Talos, kind of a couple. This is where you might see one or two of them as guards outside, but none of the other dignitaries are here currently. So they're more icons or empty buildings, to be frank. The Immaculate Ecclesiarchy's one, however, is vibrant. There are people coming and going. You see in both kind of quite simple plain robes, in armors kind of embossed with Tyr's symbols, scales, various other minor gods of high heavens as well. The building itself is clearly more alive than the others currently. There are lights in some windows, people sitting around outside, talking, praying. You see perhaps a figure or two emerge on the roof and then leave as you're kind of scouting the place. The delegation does leave. I would say that you could watch it. You see several figures accompanied by quite a sizable honor guard, all making their way further in to Alarafa, to where the ritual and ritual is taking place, and presumably meeting up with members of the Mystic Academia. You might not recognize all of them if you have an intimate knowledge for some reason of the higher echelons of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy. You may see that this is not all, but a vast amount of that inner circle of the governing body and a couple of their lieutenants. They leave. The hubba around the thing dies down a little bit. It is still manned with guards. There are 3 standing at the entrance. At the kind of at the bottom of the stairs. There's another one posted further up, and there are kind of a couple to do patrols moving around. Arvis, Mercy, and Pod, if you are going to choose your moment to go for it, you will, and you just to scale the rules quickly, you could either be making, I think overall you need to make a perception or investigation check to choose a good time, and then you'll be making an athletics or a stealth roll. If you're making a stealth roll, you're going for a lower floor. If you're going for athletics, you're trying to get to the top quickly, athletics or acrobatics, before somebody notices you. And it will affect where you can get into the building. Quan and Casimir, you, I believe, are approaching the front door and asking to go in.
Yeah.
So there's no paladins left, it's just gods.
I say guards. They may well be paladins. They are certainly wearing quite decorative armor, with 2 of them belonging to Helm, 1 Tyr, 1 seemingly unaligned.
Before we approach the guards, Casimir will kind of grab or touch Quan's wrist gently and say, "You must be very excited finally getting to Paladins of Tyr."
Well, I am rather excited. Perhaps slightly nervous. And he kind of like, you see him like fussing with his armor and his symbol, and he kind of turns to you and says, "Do I look?" And he kind of gestures over to the other paladins, like,
Quan, you look perfect. You're the spitting image of a Paladin of Tyr. You always have been. Don't be nervous. I'm by your side. What can go wrong while I'm here?
for the first part, he stands up a little straighter and looks quite kind of like with more confidence, I suppose. And then as soon as you say what could go wrong, he slowly turns to Casimir and says, "You know, speaking of being excited to meet other followers of Tyr, I would appreciate it if perhaps you could rein in any kind of..."
My hatred for paladins, my general disdain for your entire order, how disgusting I believe the majority of the tenets, and the hypocrisy under which the ecclesiarchy operates. I will rein it in, I promise. I shall be on my very best behaviour.
Hmm.
Do I believe Casimir?
You know what? Inter-party rolls. Go for it. Roll your
Yeah?
insight, and Casimir, you can tell based on the roll what you think Juan would think.
That is a total of 7 numbers. It's changed. 16. 17? Maths. So, are you insight checking that one?
Yeah, I rolled a 12.
He's particularly smiley today. You don't know if it's the spirits of Alarafa whispering sweet nothings into his ear, giving him dirt on the people around him to make him just a bit more persuasive, but he seems very confident, and I feel like when he says nothing can go wrong while he is by your side, maybe it's like a bolstering force, and he means it. He's here to look out for the day. He will behave.
Well, that's so great to hear, Casimir. I really appreciate it. I know it must be difficult for you.
Many things in life can be a challenge, but what is a challenge but an opportunity to rise above it, to succeed, to surpass who you were yesterday? I admit that perhaps while we were talking to Dominus, the Sovereign Arbiter, my temper got the better of me, but I shall make sure I am perfectly cool today.
Well, it seems like you've given it a great deal of thought. I'm so happy that you seem to be learning from your experiences, Casimir. This is an incredible breakthrough for you.
I'm really thinking very hard about the things that I do, yes.
And with a big smile, he says, "Well, I know that we're here," and he kind of lowers his voice, "for other reasons, but
Right.
I was hoping that I could finally meet those in the service of Tyr and perhaps find some kind of connection with them. And this is an incredible opportunity to do so. I will admit, I feel like I don't know as much as I should when it comes to, well..." And he kind of gestures over to the Paladin of Tyr. He's looking very shiny, and I'm assuming very blonde.
Well,
Very shiny, very blonde, and very golden-eyed.
Quan, this is entirely up to you, but if you wish to ask their assistance, you could tell them the truth, that you are a man of Tyr, but you cannot remember the nature of your oath, that you're seeking connection. Perhaps if we could always try a different track in our distraction and simply try to get their genuine assistance rather than me cause a fuss and demand a meeting.
But that won't get us any closer. Well, I suppose neither will making a fuss. Well, we could try.
Why don't we lead with your needs first? And if that doesn't work, I'll cut in and be annoying. Well,
I will do my best.
I think our friends are waiting, so let's do it. Stop touching
What one
your
would you-
symbol. You look nervous. Or maybe like straighten something on Quan that maybe he might have knocked loose by fiddling, and just make sure it looks crisp and really shiny. Might even prestidigitate some sparkles, just light ones on the like ridges of his armor, just so he catches that sunlight a little bit more.
Very tasteful.
Subtle is subtle.
Very subtle. Which one would you like to do first? Walking or scaling?
Which or which?
Walking or scaling? Which group wants to go first? But we will flip back between them, depending on how's it going.
Yeah, I don't mind. I guess.
Right.
So
I
so
guess
what? We're-
Let's do
what are we-
sneaking first. Perception checks from all three of you to decide when's your time to go.
We're trying to just walk into the servants' entrance, right? Though
No, I thought you were trying to scale. Or Arvis.
Oh.
Arvis is trying to scale.
You two
Just
are.
me,
Sorry, okay. Fair enough. Arvis, perception check from you. Are you going for the roof or are you going for a certain floor?
I thought, let me see the list of floors. I thought the offices might have been the place to go. Quick consensus check with the gang, with which I would have planned
The
it
third
with.
floor.
Yeah, so what are we thinking, guys? Third floor for the offices sounds about right.
I think we want to raid both. I think we want the officers for official documentation, but there's a high chance that this kind of shit is super classified and might be in their personal effects, like under the bed, like Ketheric
Cool.
Thorm's sneaky shit, you know, like.
Yeah, That's
Hey,
what-
you need to talk my language.
that was my thinking for guests for second floor.
Mhm.
Cool.
So
I think it's
floor is
worth.
going
I think it's
third
worth to
floor
do
and then
both.
come down.
Yeah.
I'll do third and then come down. I think that might be my easiest.
And if
bet.
it's
we can-
heavily guarded, our objective is to try and remove the guards and distract them. So if it looks risky, then maybe try wait for us and see if we have luck distracting them.
We'll do second and work up, and maybe we'll be.
Okay. So you guys are going for the servant entrance, and Arvis is going for the second floor.
Third floor.
Third floor for the offices and meeting rooms, and then meet you on the second, maybe. That's the plan?
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds right.
All right, Arvis, perception check to see when you want to go. And
Okay. All
you're
right.
going to need to make a stealth check afterwards.
Come on, bad bitch. Let's see what you got. That's 11 plus. That's a 14. How are we looking?
14. It's not the best time to go. Like a guard begins to almost come around the corner, but you have made the decision and you're going. It will just be a slightly higher DC.
I am invisible. It's one thing to take into account.
That's advantage on stealth rolls.
Yes, it is.
For God's sake.
Cool. All right, that sounds good. Let's. What do we do now, boss?
You're making a stealth roll to climb the thing carefully.
Let's do that. We've gone for a 20.
That with advantage.
It is not with advantage. It should be giving me it automatically since I've turned the condition on. It's a bit slightly higher. Oh, lower. How can that be? 19. Looking at the wrong thing. Let me see this. Yeah, so it is 20 in that case.
Okay. You, like the others, see you turn invisible. You kind of, approach the side. Even now, even invisible, moving stealthily through the shadows, through the dim light. press yourself up against the wall and begin to kind of use either your handholds or the natural steepness of the building where they kind of indent a little bit to make your way up, and you move through unnoticed the first floor. You get to the second floor and there's a slight sense you get those hairs that kind of prick up on the back of your neck, that an experienced thief knows that they need to check for something. And you kind of look around and you realize that on the top, a couple of the angelic figures, their faces have shifted or moved and seem to be looking in your direction, but they seem to be like looking around. They seem to not be able to see you from what you could see. And you creep up a little bit further, a little stealthier, a little slower, and you get to a window. You peer inside and you see this seems to be kind of a small room that's presumably used for some kind of conferences. There is
Sorry to interrupt
a kind
there,
of
DM. I've actually just read something I wrote down earlier I intended to do before having visibility cast
fine.
on, which was as a ritual cast detect magic. Only lasts 10 minutes, but yeah.
That's fine. So the gargoyles, obviously detect magic on. There, as you approached it, looking through this window, there's no magic inside, but there is a very thin layer of magic around the outside of this window frame. Abjuration magic. And you see it's the same on every single window here.
I've forgotten the schools of magic. Abjuration is the one that no, that's divination.
Protective spells.
Protection magic, right?
Yep.
Cool. And that's cast around the window.
Just the window frame.
So the glass itself, let's say, is, or the wood or whatever it's made of.
It's not protected, yeah.
Laser holes in the glass. Let's go.
Do the Puss in Boots thing where you
know
like
those
carve it with your claw.
Yeah, those like suckers, and you like then tape them.
Yeah, look at my inventory, man. I've got so much little bits planned here and there. That seems like a tall order, even for a master thief, to do that.
You're not just
well,
a
I mean,
master
it could be a
thief,
sleight of
you're
hand
the
check,
master
which I
thief.
do have. Yeah, I do have a pretty good sleight of hand check. That might go down with thieves' tools. What are you thinking, DM?
You want to try thieves' tools to carefully cut the window but not touch the protective magic?
Sounds like yeah. I'm sorry. The room is just like empty, is it?
Yeah, it's empty. There's like a couple of chairs neatly put together, a couple of like cabinets and cupboards that might hold something, but the room for now is completely empty. You've picked this one because it looks the safest.
Cool.
Don't make your thieves' tools roll.
I think so. Okay, we got good numbers on this. Roll it. That's a 7. I am going to, so it's come to 20. I'm going to use a lucky point on that, I reckon.
Okay.
More like it. 25. And am I adding anything else to that? I think it's 25.
I think you've rolled stealth, so it would be 2 more.
Yes, it'd be +2 to that. So
Yeah.
27.
So that's masterful work. You managed to kind of, whether it's individual fragments of glass throughout the pattern or whole chunks of it, slowly, methodically, you manage to chip away and make a hole that is just about big enough for you to be able to slip through in between kind of the wood and the carvings. And with that roll as well, I say you're able to kind of very, very delicately slip through it. The protective seal remains undamaged and unactivated as you quietly make your way inside.
Good work, sir.
We will deal with that then in a second, as we will quickly switch to Mercy and Pod attempting to sleep to make their way in through the service quarters. So you presumably, are you waiting for a delivery, or are you just going to approach blindly, or are you going to try to meld in with some others?
I think we watch for a while to figure out what they look like. then just disguise ourselves as like whatever their kind of general clothing and appearance looks like, and then just try and walk in.
Yeah,
Just
so people aren't going in necessarily wearing uniform or things. There are a couple of people who come outside and you see there is a uniform they're wearing, which is a very kind of, long robe with some kind of gold trim around the lapels and the wrists, and the symbol of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy kind of on the side. And it's clear that people are changing when they go inside, because you have kind of people from Al Rafa either coming or leaving, and some seem to be taking outside to essentially take a break. So you get the sense that you just need to approach in a particularly non-suspicious manner, but it's whether or not you would then be recognized or known. So it's not that you need to approach in uniform. Presumably you'll get uniform when you go inside.
like maybe we just pick some like regular, human food, kind of regular, standard appearances for the like generic height, weight, and race of this area.
Yeah. Go for it. I'd say as you're approaching, make a performance check.
I just give guidance and help to Mercy, who's going to do pretty much all the talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with help, it's a 19.
19. Okay. I'd say you're not immediately obvious. However, when I will say that you are going to be
Oh wait,
challenged.
sorry. Guidance. That might give me guidance. Will give me a 20 at least. Oh, sorry.
It's not going to be immediately obvious that you're out of place. You're going to walk quite confidently. You're going to be wearing garb, which is synonymous or not out of place, but you are going to be challenged when you arrive to give your names and purpose and, are we expecting you? So I suppose having observed that, you'll need to be ready to answer those questions. Would you go, or do you need a second to think about it?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, we probably would have observed this and been ready with an answer, I guess.
Yeah. So there's only two guards at the back here, and they kind of, as you approach, you'll notice actually neither of them have yellow eyes, and they are wearing different armor than the ones at the front. They are not representative of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, and this is what was missed by Casimir earlier, is that there aren't only representatives of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy here, there are representatives of very close allies from Sacramar.
Oh no.
Who also participated on their side in the war.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Oh shit. Who has the Sending Stone? Not that I can say anything right now.
Arvis.
Oh, that's right.
We don't have one.
Fuck.
Oh,
shit. Name, please.
Hello, sir. I'm Podrick. My name's Podrick.
Podrick, yes. Is Tobias expecting you?
We knew, and yes, Master Tobias was kind enough to give us a run at the place.
It kind of squints at you a little bit. Look, he's not like, he seems a bit bored, as of the other one. They're not super engaged with their job today. He kind of hands out his thing. Letter of invite, please.
Oh, begging your pardon, sirs. Master Tobias said that we would fill out the paperwork inside.
He kind of looks over Theon, go check. And the other one turns around and begins walking inside to kind of go check with Tobias.
Shit.
Stands there and just kind of looks at you awkwardly. And so, where are you from?
Oh, where somewhere in Alarafa, Jamie? What sort of location?
District, or like Street of Vales or something. You say something. Oh, is it nice? He's making the most awkward small talk.
Well,
Is
it would be, sirs. Except me and my brother Hugh, we're just trying to make enough to feed our little brother, he's sick. He's got the plague, you see, and we were really hoping
Plague?
to get
Have
him.
you got the plague?
No, it's the
Are you
crow's
sure?
plague. The crow's plague.
You can make a deception check.
Shit.
Me lord, me brother has a highly infectious disease.
Shit. Wait,
Again,
I'm gonna see. Wait.
help, I guess. As Hugh.
You're gonna stand there and look particularly not plague ridden.
He looks very not plague ridden, and also he's
Wait.
nodding very enthusiastically.
I'm gonna flip my red metal coin that Atlas has kindly gifted us.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does it do?
Nice,
Thank you, Matthew. It gives me a reroll on a d20.
You need it on that one.
Yep.
Oh,
But even with guidance and help? Oh boy.
is it still
What did you
bad?
roll?
Will I get help, Jamie?
Yeah.
I'll send you a helping. Pod would need to
I'm
explain
helping
how he's helping.
Yeah.
He's just reinforcing everything, nodding enthusiastically.
What do you roll?
Like a proper sidekick.
You just rolled with shit 3 times.
So this is gonna be
back to
3 bad rolls if you bad roll.
back. Portents?
It's not great. It's not great, Jamie. I got a 4, 5, and an 8. That gives me a 13.
She
13's
looks at you,
okay.
kind of panicked, and says, "Look, there's a feast tonight. Nothing could go wrong. If these bloody birds have given you the plague."
No, sir. No. We're perfectly healthy. Perfectly healthy. Physicians.
Let me see
said-
your eyes.
"My
You go to
plague
touch
is,
your
sir."
eyes.
Just sort of stand there.
Comes back. As I kind of peels it back, like looks at you, like kind of puts his hand on your forehead, narrows his eyes. At this point, the other guard comes back with a particularly haggard-looking kind of man. Seems to be like late 40s, kind of balding. Looks away and goes, Theon, what do you know about the crow plague? Just, the crow plague. That's 300 years ago, you idiot. What is wrong with you? Like at this point, they all turn to you, waiting for an explanation. How do you have a disease that's 300 years old?
I don't, sir. That's what I've been saying.
No, but your brother does.
It's what
That's
the
what
doctor.
That's what the
It's what the
said.
doctor man said.
Oh no, sir.
I'm gonna need a general persuasion check. Deception from. So this is not joint. But if this goes wrong, you're not getting in.
Yep.
You might need to try again.
Sorry, deception. What do I need? Or is this just as help as well?
Either one of you, one roll though.
Oh, Esky. Maybe I
I
think safer.
I have
if
a
you
plus
roll.
0 to deception. It's not exactly particularly special.
All right, I have a
Let's
plus
see what
4, but
happens.
is that better?
I mean, you got guidance and help.
No help.
Better.
No help, no
No help.
advantage.
But a plus
Oh,
4.
no help, no advantage. But you still got guidance though, isn't it?
Fine. I roll. No, we're doomed. The dice are determined.
Read the
Look,
numbers.
There's a
Tell
feast
us.
Today, and as much as you might need extra hands,
I got
I'm
another
not letting them in.
4.
Both of you, be gone, out of here immediately.
Please. Okay, fine. Let's shout it. Please, my brother.
If he's got that, see a priest. Don't look for money. Be gone.
Shit.
I will say that as you
Yes, we
approach
leave.
Casimir and Juan, you do probably see Eski and Pod, as you probably agreed on disguises, slink away from the servants' exit, having been rejected.
Can I, under my breath, mutter and send us a message and say, "Listen, boys, if it's gone wrong, quickly change out of your disguises and join us. We're all here from the Stormlands, and we're all Ilara's dignitaries. We can break off
okay.
once we're inside."
On our way, Casimir. Pod
That's fine.
Casimir
It will
says
be
we should
slightly
join them.
Higher DC on some of these roles. Joining the fail party.
Well, they'll look completely different, no?
They will do, potentially.
This
Jesus
will be
Christ.
Pod and Mercy.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It was just
You
like
are watched like a hawk as they leave, and actually, if you as you come and you go back out, you see that like one of the guards has seemingly been sent to make sure you go far away and has followed you into a corridor. And obviously, you now look different as you come back round, but there will be 2 beggars who are being kept on lookout.
Holy moly!
Procreate's back.
Is that a Gayfish redeeming 50,000 channel points for a relic?
what?
Relic.
Based, my friend. Thank you.
Isn't it? Does he have any say in what the relic is? I thought that was the point. Or no?
Let me remind myself about channel points.
Oh, baby.
He doesn't
Add
have
a
much say.
relic.
He might get to decide who it goes to, which I can probably imagine.
Wow.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
it's his wife, Esky.
True, actually, very true. Um,
Gonna give us the Wanda Fog Cloud or something. That's not a relic. But
channel points. I think I've got it here. Okay, yeah. Will be announced via Twitch stream. Jamie. Oh yeah, okay. In theory, I add it to the next loot drop, but Fish, if you have an idea or you would like to know who to give it to, you are welcome. My DMs are open for suggestions.
50k. Damn.
so
Okay.
I think we
Like
probably seeing Mercy and Pod get turned away will maybe hold off on our approach until they rejoin us.
Yes,
unless
if you're ring
unless
delayed,
we
that's
would
fine.
already have approached.
But did we see them? Because they went round the back.
I said you saw them sneaking away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we wait till they join us. Are they able to?
Yes. Yeah, of course. It takes a little bit more time, but they come back round. So you are now all 4 of you are approaching the front door.
Just under his breath says, "What happened?"
I
Complicated
Tried to-
task.
They didn't believe we were servants.
All right, fine. Well, you know our plan, so let's stick to it.
Maybe it's not
And
actually that complicated.
We're leading with
You did learn.
Quans.
Sorry, you did learn that the head steward is called Mr. Tobias Cole. Whether or not that becomes relevant is something that might be.
Oh yeah. I'll tell Cosmo that. I'll be like, there's a couple of guards, and it seemed like there were some. What's the word for Sacramar people?
Did you see
Not
that? Or
the
did
tail.
Arvis see that?
No, you saw that. They saw it, Mercy.
Okay. Sacramaran? I don't have a word.
Sacramarans.
Marians.
Paladins.
Sacramarian? Sacramarian sounds better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were Sacramarians guarding the door,
What do you mean?
and
Well,
what
I mean, quite literally.
I mean, there were Sacramarians guarding the door.
I'm the most wanted man from the nation.
I know. That's what I'm
Maybe-
telling you.
You got a fake nose or something, or maybe something else.
I'm not compromising my nose. My parents
Could
worked
you
hard
tie
for
up-
this.
Could you tie up your hair, maybe?
I've already ponytail. You know what?
Could you let down your hair?
I'm going to be confident in this one. We are dignitaries of Alara Lumina, and my past or misunderstanding with the Order does not matter in the context of global politics. Also, I have a Paladin of Tyr here with me. One, the holy man, beacon of righteousness, whose sword has slain 1,000 devils, shall vouch for me. And besides, this is a time of peace and repentance, and it'll be fine. I'm not running anymore.
I'm going to
But
disguise
question-
myself as. Sorry.
But question: if we're distracting them, what are we distracting them for? If it's now only Arvis inside?
Can you break off, perhaps, Mercy, Pod? Disappear, maybe find the gents and fall down the hole, proverbially.
I was thinking I'd just kind of go invisible and then duck behind the guards and then reappear looking like a guard.
Good idea.
I was thinking I would disguise myself, looking like this, and I shrink down into like a small, like 14-year-old boy. I'm Mr. Kwan's squire. Can't wait to grow up and be a knight.
Good.
That's genius.
Very good. Let's do it. What can go wrong? He said, somewhat less convinced
Why
than he
tempt
was
fate with that
earlier.
comment?
Ah, yes.
With that
And-
notion of what can go wrong, you steel yourself and begin approaching.
Why do you sound like you're in a tin can, Jamie, suddenly?
Because I've changed my mic again. I just quickly, if I needed to say anything. Is that better?
Yes.
Oh yeah, way better.
That's better. Hello. You approach. Now, as I said, there are 4 members of the guard, 1 up above, 3 below. There are no Sacramarian guards at the front. However, you do notice that 3 of them are seemingly from Zenith, or at least the area around it, told by the traditional Golden Eyes, those who live close to the high heavens for a long period of time. This is representative of them, and it's seen as a status symbol amongst the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy.
We get the sense these guys are kind of well-to-do.
One of them certainly is. Is there any of you who, for whatever reason, would recognize or know any upper echelon members of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy?
Probably, right? I mean, I've been disguising
Yes,
myself at
I know
parties.
lots about it.
So
Uh-huh.
you can, all 3 of you can roll. I'll say history checks. Your studies with Alara might have given you this name, Quan. So
I may well have even met Natural 20. I've met him at a party before while I was in disguise.
yep, you may
This
well.
person might have killed someone I love dearly.
Nice.
Never heard of him.
What did you roll?
I don't
I
want
got
to talk
7.
about it.
Okay, Casimir, you know this person. You've either been in disguise or you've had drinks with them. It kind of shocks you because they were in Sacramar, and Sacramar is where the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy come to play. It is far enough away. It is the indulgence. It is
It's Dubai.
oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah,
Hawaii.
It's Hawaii, Dubai.
Oh,
And this at the time was a high-ranking, but you're perhaps unsure. I'd say actually you in your notes it came up because you realised you meant it has been promoted. This is Vicar General Mordecai Thorne.
Vicar
seems-
General Mordecai.
Seems to be in his late 40s. Distinguished appearance, tall, kind of very measured. Hair is salt and pepper, kept very short and neat. Meticulously groomed, even now. Eyes, that kind of golden color, as very much, and now dressed in very ceremonial armor, very polished, very looked after. A bit impractical, perhaps. And he's the one kind of standing a couple of steps back, like clearly observing, probably not on guard duty, just has not chosen to go to the ritual for whatever reason and is hanging around, and isn't the one who addresses you. But this is certainly a high-ranking member of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy that you recognize.
Do I have any dirt on this man? With the notion of him being in a in a party to
With
play.
a natural 20, yeah. I mean, to you,
Did he say something
you have seen...
inappropriate?
It's not so much inappropriate. It was more partaking in wine, partaking in some of the brothels in Sacramar, the illegal ones. You know that this is not a man who is as pious as his rank would suggest he should be.
Okay.
what's an illegal brothel?
Wait,
Just out of
sorry?
curiosity.
Wait, what? Repeat that, please.
Sacramar is where those who as lots of you will know, presents itself as a highly religious place, but actually it is a facade in the same way that somebody would claim something like Dubai would be, and it's more a rich, powerful person's playground. And this person was rumored to have been partaking in brothels, but was certainly seen drinking and not behaving in the most pious way at parties by Casimir. after a
I
natural 20.
will quietly share this as we're walking. The smile won't leave from his face, but say, if this goes awry, please leave this to me. I have dirt on this man. I've met him before.
So he's
But
not
Jake-
the closest to you, and he won't be addressing you, but you imagine may be called over if things go awry.
Yeah.
What makes the brothel illegal?
You don't
It's
want
not
to-
I don't
allowed.
want to know.
Oh, it's just the fact that it's a brothel.
It's haram.
Yeah,
Oh, are
Ah,
escorts
okay.
disallowed in Sacramento?
officially.
Whoa.
That's part of why Casimir is wanted.
So upside.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
I'm not
Sorry.
gonna lie, I feel that
Or
maybe he may have. You know.
You just got called a hoe and a fucking.
Honestly, I actually think it's completely in character that if it got him where he needed to be, he would have done it. So I
I was only making a stupid
Okay.
joke. I didn't mean it.
Approaching the guards, the only successful attempt so far is Arvis. As you approach, one of them kind of, they both turn to face you and acknowledge your group and kind of, ask you to stop. And one of them introduces herself, kind of nods her head a little bit and goes, "Sentinel Anya at your service. What brings you?"
Paladin, this is your moment.
Let me announce Sir Quan of the Golden Eyes, first paladin of what?
Unyielding bastion of virtue, whose mere presence
Unyielding
sanctifies
bastion
the
of
battlefield.
virtue, whose mere presence sanctifies the battlefield.
He is a beacon of hope in the darkest of times.
Emissary of Lady Lara Lumina of the Storm Queen. Stormlands. All pay homage.
Is that actually what's said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
You know what, why not? That
Mini
sounds
Mercy steps
good.
forward, announcing Quan to the world, and passers by kind of look over. All four of the guards turn. You have the rapt attention of the three normal members of the party and Vicar General Mordecai now, and they are looking confused but expectantly at Quan.
Is there a way that during this I could have slipped away before this announcement and maybe
No.
Oh, shit.
Surely you could slip away during it.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah, like as soon as Mercy starts yelling, I want to try and like kind of mingle with the crowd a little bit. Not
So
be part of this
you're a bit
procession.
separate from the crowd. You're attempting to go in up these stairs, right? Like the four of you have approached. I would not say this is a scenario where you could easily disappear. You need to wait for another opportunity, assuming you get inside, to go invisible.
Okay.
Imagine like the Zolfarak. You're at the bottom of the pyramid.
When we get
But there's no
inside,
one
are we
else spawned
just
yet.
gonna gaslight all the paladins, being like, "No, there were only three of us. Did you see four? No."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Before
Yeah,
we,
they're just starting waiting. Like they're looking a
Yeah.
bit confused. Time is passing. Imagine
It's
you're all
just so
quite
I don't
stunned.
sound like I'm retconning. Like I don't think Pod would have thought being a fucking close to 8 foot furbog is going to make him blend in very well. So I think he's adopted the persona of whatever his name was, Sir Podrick, the Silence.
Nice.
Sure.
Oh, greetings, brothers and sister. One woman.
Yes.
You see
Sure.
like a heavy bead of sweat like drip down like Quan's temple as he's saying this. I am Quan, Paladin of Tyr, and it's an honor to be in the presence of. And he turns to I don't remember his name.
Vicar General
the other-
Mordecai Thorn.
Yeah.
Is the Vicar General
Um,
like high up, or is he talking to us?
No, he's a couple of steps away.
Okay.
He didn't seem to be talking to the guards. He seemed to be doing something and has turned around to pay attention to this.
Especially another in the service of Tyr.
And you look, and one of them, not the one you're speaking to, the one you're wearing to, is wearing Tyr's armor, as is the Vicar General. The other one was wearing Ilmater's thing. And
Wait, you said that there was one that was Helm and one that was something
sorry,
else.
Helm, ignore me. Yes,
Okay,
and the one at the
yeah.
back doesn't have any insignia. It is a pleasure to meet such a renowned servant. It is odd that I had not heard of you, given your list of accomplishments that your squire, is it, read out. I have heard the name Ilara Lumina, though. Recently ascended to a vacant throne. Very quick for you to have made your way here. It's barely been 2 weeks.
Is that quick,
Claims.
Ian?
Yeah, that's like it's
Mm.
the other side of the world.
How did we get here again?
Teleport.
You were teleported.
By the Archon
Uh,
herself. On important business.
Oh.
I mean, wouldn't it be
very
the
curious.
If Quan is silent for more than like 3 seconds and people start looking awkwardly at him, is Quan silent for a period?
I mean, I as a player am thinking, but go for it.
Yeah, it's fine
No,
if
no, no.
someone wants to think.
Think you'll think.
We
So yeah,
can't
so I would
interrupt
say just
Paladin.
while you're doing that there's something slightly more than piercing about the look each of them is giving you. That it's not just that they're intently staring at you, but I would say each of you get the sense as they stares at you that when they're paying enough attention, lying might not be advised. And I would say that maybe some of your readings have done that there is an uncanny ability between some serving members of the High Heavens to be able to detect falsehoods.
I mean, why not just tell them the truth?
Well,
We were
yeah.
teleported here by the Archon herself because we're so important.
Well, we are incredibly lucky to have such powerful friends after our last encounter with Lara, and justice has indeed brought us here for our next journey.
Kind of stares. She stares at you a little bit. Well, how fortuitous. I am glad to welcome you, if you have not already been, to Alarafa. And this, our little enclave. How may we be of service to you?
Well, actually, I'd like to ask the same question to you. We were hoping to introduce ourselves and offer our services. This may seem strange to you, but I have not encountered many of our own, and I wish to know more and be amongst. Is my people a weird thing to say?
Yeah, you can say my people. No, I would be certainly would be curious to know more about you. Your deeds, numerous as they are. It's interesting it's escaped our notice. Nevertheless, Tyr's light shines throughout all of the lands. You wish for a meeting with anyone in particular, or just somebody important enough?
Quan is probably gonna look over to Casimir at this point. I mean, we don't have a plan, right? Like, we're just trying to talk to them, so.
If I may, good paladins, may I introduce myself? I am another member of Ilara Lumina's dignitaries. We stand before you as individuals responsible for bringing about her ascension to her new throne and dethroning indeed the bandit queen that held the Stormlands in such a sway of inequity and vile behaviour as she previously did. It would be our genuine pleasure to speak with whoever you have presently, such that we might organize or come to an understanding with your kin. Perhaps that cannot be General Mordecai Thorne up there. Perhaps he may be a good place to start. We simply wish to discuss matters of international security and how, as Alara's closest allies and confidants, we may work together for the betterment of Lakai.
Looks back to Quan. Does this one speak for you?
speak for me. We are comrades.
With, please, not for. What Quan has said is entirely true. It is our priority and our fondest wish that Quan might spend time with individuals whom he was closely aligned with as proponents of justice and beacons of light. But also, of course, for the rest of us, we see this as a brilliant opportunity to forge alliances with an ilk who we believe share our desperate need for establishing goodness and faith in the darkest corners of the world.
Is that a lie, Casimir?
I think as he says it, he's kind of speaking, I think as a group, no, we banished Razor, the Bandit Queen, for good purpose.
I would like you to roll a deception check for something else not related to that.
Let's see.
And Quan a persuasion roll.
Yes, it's good. Oh.
Wait, Jamie,
Yeah.
which one of them is rolling insight right now?
Anya, the one you're speaking to.
I would like to give her a 7.
A 7. Okay.
23.
Sure. 23 deception and persuasion.
24.
24. Okay, looking you up and down, it says, well, in these trying times, I'm sure your service and I'm sure your services will be most welcome. As I'm sure you are aware, many of the leadership are presently occupied with rituals, festivals, parades around the city. But if you come inside, I'm sure we can find spaces for you to wait if you are willing.
Please, perhaps we might stage a preliminary meeting to see where we might align. See if we're a good fit for each other.
Align,
Align, yes. Our
like two sticks.
if our values match.
Why did you say align though? It's out of place.
No, as in to make sure that we are travelling in the same direction. We are two parallel paths. We are aligned. Is this a strange phrase?
Yes, it's one I've never heard before. I can see why you use it, but
Well, perhaps it's a strange bit of lingo from where I'm from. I hadn't realised it wasn't internationally recognised. I've learned something today already. What a wonderful allyship we shall have.
so it's Quan. Casimir. No, you haven't given your name, have you? I don't think you have.
No.
I feel like you did.
I think I did. Did I? I feel like I've said my name.
You might have done. I might have missed it. Have you?
Yes.
Casimir. Squire. Announcer.
Oh, my name's Reginald, but they call me Reggie.
Such a good boy,
Okay.
Reggie.
And this one, quiet one in the back.
He just stoically nods.
Oh, begging your pardon, sir. That one's Sir Podrick the Quiet. He's taken a vow of silence, you see. He says that he won't utter a word until the land is rid of all evil or something. Is that right, Sir Podrick?
Stoically nods once again.
You can make a deception check, Mercy.
That's so good.
Oh no!
Give that
Can I help
advantage,
from
man.
nodding?
You still have guidance.
help from nod. Help from nod?
No.
That's rude, man.
I really don't want to have to use the portent on this roll. This is fucking insane.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 3
No.
plus 4.
Peering into you.
I'm gonna portent this motherfucker.
What are you portending them to?
I mean, I give them a 2,
Okay, what's your plus to deception?
4. So I got a 7 plus guidance is 8 total.
Oh my god.
It's one of those days.
They're paladins, they're not
TCT.
in
Very-
classes. It's fine.
All staring into you, able to detect lies, and what you have said, looks at you, looks back at Juan. Your traveling companions lie to us.
What do you mean?
Well, yes, Reggie, that's not quite the truth. Do I get the sense that he's like intently looking at all of us now?
Oh, this is still Anya, but yeah,
Oh, she.
there's like
Sorry.
yeah, there's like a sudden. You two weren't lying, but somebody is, and there's like an inherent. The suspicion level has been raised quite significantly.
I'm afraid our young friend here is a little overzealous with some of his storytelling. Our friend here lost the ability to speak on one of our journeys. He can utter some words, but perhaps it is best for him to stay silent.
Now that isn't a lie.
He
That's
has a
incredibly truthful.
Tendency to wax rather lyrical about things you don't want to hear about. It really is. for
Probably feels
everyone's
quite
better.
upset about.
In this instance, he's so high tension. No, he doesn't feel offended. He just.
Okay. Looking at each one of you, she says, I'm happy to see it as the folly of youth. But as I'm sure you know, no sin permitted within the halls of Tyr, no matter how small or great. As
As
the
Mr.
gavel decrees.
As Mr. trying so hard not to snort. No sin.
Sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We shall discipline Reggie later. It's quite inappropriate for him to be speaking falsehoods to a woman of Tyr.
Well, Casimir, we know that Reggie has been on a path. Much improvement has been made.
And we shall continue to push him down the road of corrective behaviour.
Good.
Mm.
Disciplined entirely and as young as possible.
Quite right.
Based.
Classic.
I was
priest.
just thinking about the youth of today and slovenly, they show no respect.
We've become quite lenient.
aren't
with
pious
them,
enough.
haven't we?
They
As a
eat hot
society.
Yeah, I feel like
Anyway.
national service would do them right, you know.
shit.
Exactly.
It's a
Another
squire,
3
not
years.
national
10 years
service.
is not long enough as far as I'm concerned.
How special they believe themselves.
Anyway, it says, well, far it would be for me to bar the way for Alara's dignitaries. Inside, if you will. I'm sure General Thorn will see you to you presently.
I thought. I keep thinking you're saying Thorm.
I feel like he looks like Catherick Thorn.
Catherick Thorn. Yeah.
Vicar General Mordecai Thorn.
It's his best J.K. Simmons impression of them.
Very good. Okay.
Right.
I know the time, so we will take a short break and we will recommence with Arvis and go on there. As the rest of you are brought inside of the main entrance hall and are going to be supervised, but are at least inside for now, expecting to meet someone important on a line. Anyway, I will. Yeah, we'll be back in. Everyone good for 22?
Yes, 12
Yes.
minutes.
Goodness. All right, awesome. I will catch you all in a bit. Bye bye.
Goodbye, friends.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are still waiting for SK/pod, but however, you guys have planned your heist, or at least information gathering from the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy's base and ziggurat within Al-Rafa. Arvis has made his way into the third floor, I believe the offices. Pod and Mercy have failed to get in through the servants' quarter, but the rest of you have walked in through the front door, escorted, and are now being shown waiting rooms where you have indicated that you wish to offer your services to as Ilara Luminar's dignitaries. We will turn back to Arvis. Arvis, you land, deft of foot, quiet not to make a noise, and you are in a room.
Yeah.
You look around, there is nobody else here. It is quiet. You can hear kind of a bit of bustling from the floor below, maybe a couple from the closed door. And in this room, there's a set of some cabinets, some chairs, a few tables, a couple of candles, some scrolls. Nothing jumps out to you immediately, but you're well within your rights to look around. And you get the sense that you have not been discovered.
That's good news. Cool. I have detect magic pinging still. Is that correct?
Yes, there is nothing magical in this room.
Marvelous. And the room itself in nature, does it look like is it like an office room? Am I in one? Is this a place I can begin my quest to search?
Yeah, this is a meeting room, like you imagine, more than an office room.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in that case, a scan over the scrolls, what would I see written upon?
A couple refer to logistics, kind of the number of people, food and supplies. Others refer to kind of general maintenance or the layout. You pick through them. It's mainly
General
admin
maintenance.
or prayer
Hold on.
scrolls.
What's
Yep.
the general maintenance one saying?
General
What's
maintenance of
the
this
gist
building.
Yeah.
So
What's
kind
the
of incoming
prognosis
orders,
of the building
servant
thus far?
lists. Yeah, like servant lists,
Cool.
guests.
Sure. No, sorry, I thought it was maybe something architectural, like a survey or something of the actual building
No.
itself. Cool. All right. Cool. A largely unremarkable room with unremarkable materials. Cool. Press on, I suppose.
As you open up the door, kind of peering around it, you see that there's kind of a corridor that leads down to what would be the main entrance hall. You kind of see that there's like a central path upwards. The rest of you see this as you walk in through the main door. You see that there's like a singular staircase that continues almost from the front that goes up, and then the floors kind of peel off it. So obviously you're on the left side of this staircase, and there are a couple of other rooms, or a couple of other doors that you could attempt to move through. The floor is it's kind of dark marble, and there's like golden lines kind of making their way from the staircase to each one of the rooms. You can assume that either these are going to be kind of individual offices, meeting rooms, or as you kind of saw in the thing, might be individual people's office. And you imagine that what you might be looking for is some of the high-ranking officials would have used this would have taken some of the offices here.
Wonderful. And so I see that there's a couple of singular offices, which probably imply they're more senior offices. Do I get a sense this area is like locked down for the evening, or is it like someone might be working late, or like, do you know what I mean?
I'd say from the general noise, you get the sense there are people working here, and also when you look, so you peer down onto the thing, maybe you see the rest of the group get walked in and kind of taken off to the side. There are people kind of walking backwards and forwards. This isn't an empty building at all.
Got it. Cool. In that case, so what's the lighting generally in this abode?
It's very well lit. Definitely compared to outside. It was probably a little blinding when you all walked in.
Got it. In that case, I believe I will approach one of the individual officers in that case.
Okay. I'd say there's. You reckon that? Yeah, it's pinging. as you approach, could you make an investigation check for me?
I can indeed. In fact, do I have a... Bollocks, I didn't buy one before I came. That's annoying. Anyway, moving on. Investigation. That is a 15.
15. Okay. As you approach, you kind of put your ear to the ground. There doesn't seem to be any sounds coming from inside. You detect magic, I'd say, is beginning to run out at this point, 10 minutes, but nothing around the door or the outside seems magical.
Cool. Is the door locked or is it open?
It's locked.
I would like to attempt to pick that lock, please.
Yep, go for it.
Cool. So that is plus 15. So that is the same as my sleight of hand. I can roll that again. Cool. Let's do that. And invisibility still up?
Yes. It's an hour invisibility, right?
Yeah. Ooh, 2 for 15.
15. Okay. Takes you a little bit longer, and you kind of steady yourself a bit. You keep looking around. You worry how bright it is. It's probably a bit disconcerting, but eventually it goes, and you are able to open the door and move inside. Looking around, this is certainly a kind of transitory office. Sorry, what gone?
I just move inside and close the door behind me, as it were.
Yeah. Moving, like, you can you're somebody who, this is new to. I mean, as you're looking around, this is certainly an office where someone has recently or isn't planning to be here long. A lot of the there's a central desk with kind of quills and parchment on it, but a lot of the parts are still bundled up. There are kind of stuff hasn't been properly unpacked, and that has been kind of rewrapped as well. Like, whoever is here is clearly not going to be here long or doesn't plan to be here long. You see that there are a couple of letters that are open, seals broken, some that are unbroken, and also some half-written letter already there. There are some amulets hanging up on the wall behind, some robes that you don't exactly recognize what office that would be, as well as some cabinets that at the moment seem to be shut, as well as a central desk. You're muted.
And Gog's had to clear my throat. Do I get impression the garment, the robe, is really one of a kind? Someone quite senior, or is it like, maybe someone of middle management vibes? Like,
it doesn't strike you as remarkable in its finery or design. It seems quite basic.
Cool. I will bundle it into my bag of holding.
Okay.
And the letters. Just quickly, this room, is it large? Is there much room to hide in if need be?
You struggle to hide in this room. It's quite small.
Cool. Got it. And is it extremely well lit as well in that case?
This is less well lit. Though you can see there are lots of candles, but only a couple have remained.
Mm-hmm. And
as you walk past one of the bags,
is the ceiling particularly high? Is it like?
No, about average. I will say that there seems to be some of the bags and some of the scrolls aren't just carrying paper inside. I'd say if you kind of move past them or touch them, you think there's clearly something metal inside for some of them.
Well, we'll definitely take a look at that.
Yeah. Opening up, there are chains inside.
Just chains.
Chains and cuffs.
Detect magic ping anything off these?
Your detect magic's run out.
But why?
Cool. I will very quickly skim in that case some of the letters.
Yeah. The letters are all addressed to someone called High Confessor Damien Pike.
That's a banging name, by the way, DM. Love it.
And these are all reports or actions of people who have been arrested and recounts by the members of the Templar Guard from back home, reports of some of their testimony, what they revealed or what they've told as part of investigations, ongoing investigations into lots of criminal rings, stuff going around in Zenith in the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy. It's predominantly seems to be internal though. Could you make an investigation check for me? You're muted.
25, sorry.
25. Whilst looking around, you do find two things that immediately interest you. One is a wanted poster of a form you've seen Mercy adopt, but is not currently for a while.
Cool.
You also
I will
find
take
Casimir's
that.
wanted poster.
I will take that too. In the hope that these are original copies and will be more difficult to copy in the future, I will bundle those into the bag.
You're also looking around. You find references to a recent uprising or a planned one in Paragonia. You also are aware and perhaps find that, and this is what you mean by declaring a war, is that criminals as well as other people have begun being conscripted into the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy's army. And there are references to them needing to find more people for what is to come, and certainly some leniency should be applied to sentencing, and all criminals should be offered the opportunity of serving the ecclesiarchy instead of any other punishment.
Oh dear.
This is juicy. All right, cool. I'll probably fucking nick that as well. That sounds like a bit of an indictment.
And that
Grand.
part of the uprising in Paragonia was against this new law and conscription.
Cool. Somebody write that fucking down.
I've got you.
All right.
Can I ask an
Cool.
out of character question, Jamie?
Yep.
Do we know, Arvis included, what the population of the ecclesiarchy is in comparison to like everywhere else?
It's one of the more populated areas. I would probably need to think about it more to give you an exact number.
Okay.
To be fair, but I would in terms of civilized, in terms of cities, it has some of the largest. Both Zenith and Paragonia are very large cities by Lucai's standards, probably in the tier below Dominus.
Okay.
So naturally, its population is higher. They also have obviously invaded the Mystic Academia and now own half of those lands.
So it's like if they're doing conscription quite widely, like it's quite a big, like their army would be huge basically.
Yeah.
They have so many people.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Okay, I will give
why?
Arvis one more room. Should you attempt to go there, and then we will probably return to the others.
Cool. On that note, I think at this point, Arvis is, rather than donning his face as the norm, is very hooded up with his original attire at the sort of start of our
Are
campaign.
you not still invisible?
Yeah.
I still will be invisible, but who knows when it's going to drop or when you're going to have to cast a spell or do something that's going to drop it.
Sure.
Cool. In that case, less is any, confiscated money by the Mr. Pike. Any any evidence chests or anything like that. We're gonna move on, Governor.
Sadly, only reports. You imagine that this is a temporary office.
Cool.
He hasn't arrested anyone in
Alarafa.
Alarafa. Could you roll a d20 for me, just a straight d20 for the next office you try?
Fucking hell, geezer. Roll, everyone. We have a natural one.
Oh.
Okay. Sure.
Oh. No, why?
Okay, the next office. Are you attempting to find an office? Or something else?
I would be probably another single office.
Yep, you do. As you reach out and touch the door handle, you've that one, you've had a look, you've checked. Could you roll a wisdom saving throw for me?
Oh dear. That's a natural one, and I imagine what I'll probably
Oh
do
my
is
God.
just roll a lucky point for that. I mean, should I even bother? Because, like, am I going to save? Might as well. You're in his luckies. You
Oh
try.
boy.
Two nat ones.
And a 14 for
tonight.
14.
14. Okay. With that, just before you get there, you reach out, touch the door handle, and it's slightly warmer to the touch than you were expecting. And something you feel a word, a voice inside your head tell you to fall asleep, and you just manage to stop and resist it. You're gonna take your hand back quickly,
Okay.
realizing that there's an enchantment on that door and that door handle.
Cool. Righteous.
We need to get Bob down
Um,
there.
Oh,
Yeah, ideally. You know, I should have got a fucking scroll of silence. I could crowbar it open. Okay. And how far away are they? On that note, how far away are the sounds? The sounds in the distance of others. How far away are they?
Not far. 10, 20 feet.
Cool. So you imagine if I made a bit of a racket, it would probably attract some attention.
Yeah.
Suggestions to your comrades?
you're all there on your own, bud.
You could try another door.
It sounds like I'm gonna have to try another door. So let's try another door.
Okay. Roll another D20.
Cool. That's a 20. Could have used that earlier.
20. Okay, sure.
Natural, by the way.
This one, you find one that's still slightly ajar, and you have a look around, and it seems safe, empty. You
Do
check
I
more
check it for
thoroughly.
traps, DM? Yeah.
Make an investigation check.
Okay.
Come on. The dice taketh and
what?
giveth.
Do I have I feel like deep in my abilities somewhere? No, probably not. Whatever, I'll just make an investigation check. That's a natural one. Oh, for 8, but it is a natural one, I believe, still, yeah.
Okay. No traps. But you do hear footsteps coming from inside as the door opens. Perfectly placed, however, for you to be behind it with your natural 20, as a woman walks straight out and leaves the door completely open behind you.
Invisible and in.
Okay. As you go in, you this is a similar thing, very temporary, a bit larger, a bit grander. And as you're kind of looking through documents, you realize this is the office of Canoness Esmeralda Stone, High Canoness Esmeralda Stone, the second in command of the Immaculate Ecclesiarchy, generally responsible for the administration of daily activities, enforcement of doctrine, known to be fairly unyielding in her pursuit of rules and efficiency. And this is what you are looking through. Could you make an investigation check?
Oh, this is a banging office. This is the one.
Come on, roll fucking high.
That is a 19.
Okay.
Great, 19. Okay, what exactly do you think Arvis is looking for? Just anything, or what has the group communicated to you to be looking for?
What have they communicated to me, group?
Well, you're looking for reasons. To get full reward
Intelligence.
from the Sovereign Arbiter, it's why they're preparing for war and who their target is. So anything
it's worth a lot of
connected
money.
to like what is threatening them or makes them think they should invade somewhere else. We have a
Yeah,
few
so
we have a few pet theories posited that maybe we think the Sovereign Arbiter might be in cahoots with Sacramar, but that's kind of weird because the Ecclesiarchy is as well. So
Yeah.
there's something weird going on there.
So like maybe also like something Lilith related,
Yeah.
or the Academia have been their long time enemy.
Surely we just want anything that would say why they are assembling for any reason.
Any sus
But
documents
like
about
I guess
MS2
like
points.
documents mentioning in particular the Academia and maybe like the first half and Abaddon's Empire as their traditional like foes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are lots of, reports, meetings from dignitaries or understanding kind of what's going on. The Ecclesiarchy has many, contacts with Dominus, with the Pantheons, with societies. And you read through these and it's a lot of high-level diplomacy or board meetings. But a couple of elements here do stick out to you as unusual. One book, a history book, the only history book here, are it's called the various invasions and conquests of Dominus throughout the years.
Cool.
There is, however, also a requisition recently for they are a variation on a ring of mind shielding, a much more basic, primitive one that's meant to be able to be mass produced. And that kind of thing is probably
Interesting.
something for a war effort.
Isn't mind shielding one of the things we learned about fighting blood mages?
Blood magic. Betrayal.
Okay,
Love
so
it.
anything blood magic-y that you find also very relevant to conflict.
You also find
Actually, I
that
have a question for the DM at this point. It's almost an aside. I feel like this is the place I'm most likely to find one so far, possibly ever, in these offices. I keep my eye out for a magnifying glass.
Yeah, you find a magnifying glass. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. I love magnifying glasses. Cool. I'm sorry, you were saying before I interrupted you.
Yep. And going through the papers, just I'd say that's the two things that stand out to you. One is obviously a war requisition based on the stuff you found. One is a history book for wars, which you're not sure if it maybe points to something, but it's certainly out of place here. You also find a kind of outlining of where people are staying, just a thing, and you realize that the door you attempted to walk in was the Archprelate's room, and most likely one of the most heavily guarded by enchantments.
Yeah, sounds like we will do.
I would also say that the another document you find is, this is probably closest to the treasury. The Ecclesiarchy has taken out a sizable loan of 2 million gold from the Creditors Federation.
Does it say where that's kept?
Yeah, the coffers at Zenith.
All right, everybody, mount up. We got places to be.
Well, that's funding their fucking war effort, isn't it?
You know that scene in the Clone Wars where the tall guy's like, and we've got 5,000 more ready for production, and then
How
it
many
like
did
cuts
you
to
say?
the fucking 2 million gold.
Amazing.
Obviously, as you're looking around, I would say that is what you find. Is there anything you would like to do in this room, or?
Anything more to do in this room? Hideability of this room. I'm not sure if I asked that before.
This is a bit better. There are kind of, coats hang up or larger cabinets you could definitely attempt to hide behind. Yeah, it's a bigger office than the other one.
Cool, that's great. In that case, any chests? Anything,
Yeah, there's a
Plopped.
couple that you haven't attempted to open. It's more kind of done cabinets and looking through letters and missives. You could definitely try some of the. There is one large chest at the back, and you're not sure if it would contain personal effects. It seems to be quite well made, but it might also contain something else.
Cool. In that case, I would like to approach that, check it for traps, and then
Investigation check.
Yeah, cool. So that is a 15, and also really just for like signs of any arcane imbuement, any kind of arcane traps or wards, etc.
What did you also 16?
So that was 15, yeah.
15. Nothing mechanical, but I would say as someone with magical experience, even though you're not running detect magic, there are certainly some carvings of runes on around the locks here that would give you but is giving you pause before you open it. I'd say with the 15 you wouldn't be able to identify, but you would certainly not want to open without checking.
Cool. Let me check a couple of bits. I didn't have that open. Don't take too long. Does it make sense to cut back to others while I read up on a couple of things?
Yep, that's fine. So the rest of you, unless anyone wants to do anything else, you are brought inside, and Anya kind of takes you off to the side, and you see kind of this large sprawling entranceway and these marble stone stairs, black marble stairs, kind of continue upwards towards the top of this roof, and you see kind of rooms fall off, and maybe you crane your head, you might look for Arvis, but you don't see him. And you see kind of a couple of servants bustling around, moving away. Mercy and Pod, you probably see Tobias quite haggardly kind of directing them around, and they seem to be carrying food to and from. You were told there was a feast later, and that seems to be well underway and being prepared for. Taken to one side, there's a small kind of room with a couple of seats, and just in here, please, if you wouldn't mind waiting in here.
Thank you. Are we left alone? Like, how many people are around? Because I guess we're looking for opportunities for Mercy and Pod to vanish.
You are left alone in the room, but there is a guard posted outside. There's one small entrance and exit.
The boys, will it be?
Do we roll big and go further with our terrible rolls and go for the High Praetor's room or whatever it's called?
Well, you guys.
We've got to get out of this room.
Got to get out first.
I mean, I just go invisible and walk past him, but you know.
Yeah, like maybe just I'll make a
Wait, has
distraction.
Arvis tried to contact us with the sending stone yet?
No.
Let us know. Ask for help.
No,
You'll know it. I think it's one use, the sending stone, I think, per day.
Is it?
Oh, really?
I think so.
No, I think it's unlimited.
Thought it was a fun little earpiece.
So you
Up
can
to you.
cast the sending spell from it. No, you can do it as much as you like.
Fuck that then.
But I
Walkie
think that's the
talkies.
point. Is like you can only send to that person with the other stone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard from Arvis then?
Well, you've got the stone, don't you?
You do. You have the stone.
I have not heard from Arvis.
That either bodes very well or very poorly. Find out where he is. I imagine you'll want to rendezvous.
Arvis, sorry if you're in the middle of something. We haven't heard from you yet, and wanted to make sure that everything's going okay.
I have a decision to make here. DM, how much longer do I have left on my invisibility?
I'd say, based on everything, it's probably been about half an hour so far. So another half an hour.
Would we know that? Does the stone?
It allows
If
you to
I don't have
cast
the stone, then
So we would
Yeah.
probably know actually then to expect that Arvis wouldn't want to break invisibility, right? I think we would be aware of that interaction.
Well, yeah, not hearing from Arvis means that things are going okay.
Going well, yeah.
I'm sure
Okay.
Mercy wouldn't know that would be a feature of invisibility, but like I'm sure Casimir it would.
Yeah, if we're worried about it, he'd probably go, of course, he'll not reply unless there's a problem. Let him know you're trying to get down, perhaps.
Arvis, we aren't in yet. Odd and I had some difficulty reaching the second floor offices, residences, and we're with Kwan and Casimir currently, but in short, Pod should be able to slip away shortly. But I'll update you once anything changes.
you hear nothing back.
Odd. If you can just vanish, then why don't we just ask the guard outside for a glass of water? Step outside.
Or another idea could be to ask the squire to fetch us some water, and the squire perhaps is lost in a small crowd of people.
Both get out. You're thinking.
Not-
Very well.
Not that I think that you should be doing anything nefarious, just to gather information.
It's an excellent idea, go on. Perhaps playing on themes, and a rather overzealous beating, followed by some strict instructions to perform some sort of task, might add to the ensemble we're trying to create.
You can't possibly expect me to start something violent here, to raise my hand to a child.
I'll do it, don't worry.
Well, Kwan, it kind of has to, because it must be convincing. You're not hitting a real child, it will just be me.
I know that doesn't make it any better.
And you're not really hitting Mercy.
He's not.
Well, no, you'll just slap him lightly, a little tap.
Well,
If he comes back, tell him, oh, I need a half-truth. Tell him that I don't like sitting still, so I went outside.
Very well, you became uncomfortable with your present location and left. We are the talkers, after all.
let's see how
Right
this
on,
goes. And I'll shrink down into little Squire, what's his face, Reggie, and I will say, please, Sir Quan, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just trying to help. Sir Podrick.
Don't listen to
Not
him,
the
Quan.
belt.
He's filth.
I'm so sorry, not the belt. I've been trying to do better.
A lawbreaker. You know how we discipline them so.
Is the door open? Can anyone see this? What's the
Everyone
current
can see
status?
this. Like, so I don't know. Before, when you were talking, when Mercy was there, the guard can see into the room at all times. There is not a door that is shut.
Oh.
So I'm going to assume that Mercy has been this the entire time.
My expectation that he wouldn't hear me, by the way. I'm not just saying that I'm gonna run away in front of the guard.
Yeah, I thought we were in a closed room.
No, you're not. So I'm going to assume that conversation happened out of character.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
this
yeah,
this
other than that,
beating
some
apparently
gentle
is
whispers.
not.
No, the beating is definitely very public, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
The
that's the thing.
scheming,
Quan
not
doesn't
so
have to
much.
do it. Like,
Come on.
Why are we beating a child, guys?
I don't know. This is
What happened to the water man? I've doubled down, but I don't know why.
One beats me, then I go and fetch water for him as an act of atonement.
Quan, you are kind to a fault. Reggie, think about what you've done. I don't want to see you until you've thought of an adequate apology for your duplicity in the eyes of Tyr. Fetch him water as a start, and come armed with something better still.
Yes, Mr. Casimir. I will think on my actions. I'm sorry.
Deeply repent in your shame.
Mr. Quan, please! I beg Tyr's forgiveness. I will fetch you the
General
water.
performance check, sorry, please.
I'm gonna check.
So the guard's staring right at us, right?
The guard's like outside and is like looking around at this interaction.
As we just have a domestic. What have you rolled?
19. Do I have
It's-
guidance?
You probably still do, right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess you'll just keep topping it up, right? Like, why not?
Okay, yeah, as it happens, and Mercy, you kind of make your way to the entrance. The guard kind of like looks down at you quite pityingly and says, "Kitchen's over on the right. You can get water there."
Thank you,
While the
sir.
guard is distracted, Can I try and go invisible?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd say with that
actually
performance check, the guard doesn't notice.
Okay, I want to make the max distance, obviously, with the invisibility, but like, if I wanted to get to where Arvis is now, like, what do I even realize what the way would be? I mean, there's no
You have
point
no
going
idea where
invisible,
Arvis is, other than the third floor.
Are we on the
Yeah, I
third
guess
floor in
so.
meeting rooms?
No. You've been taken to like an entrance hall, like something slightly off the entrance hall. On the first floor.
Okay, and was there an obvious way up, or?
Yeah. The
Already.
staircase. The minute you came in, it goes like the staircase continues all the way up the center of the building to the roof.
Okay. Hmm.
You could
I
go
guess
to,
okay.
you could
Okay.
go to the kitchen.
I don't know how you want to take this,
You could
but
go to the kitchen.
I would like to obviously try and drop thing and go invisible. Are there any servants going to the upper floors, or are they all restricted? To the upper
They
floors?
predominantly seem to be focused on the first two floors, but they are going up and down the stairs. Yes.
Okay. I would like to go invisible, and then like reappear in obviously an inconspicuous location, so I'm not just popping out of thin air, but like obviously as high up the stairs as I can possibly go when I'm out of sight, and then if possible transform into or disguise as a servant with a very similar likeness to one that I have seen.
Okay, that's probably doable. Yeah, I'd say you go up,
Yeah.
you kind of turn a corner, take a second look around, realize you're safe, transform. That all goes off without a hitch, although there are now only two of you. Okay, Pod, you are on the third floor. That's kind of where you go, where there's less servants. This is the first time there's empty. Do you go left or do you go right?
Just kind of thinks to himself, where would Harvest go? Which way do they look identical, or does one way look like more important than another?
Difficult for you to judge. I did say which side Arvis was on, if you can remember out of character.
Did we say?
I said.
Which side? Oh, okay. I don't remember out of character. Can someone remind me? I have a better memory than me.
That's fine.
I don't
make a
remember
perception
which way.
check.
By all means. That's a 14.
14. You don't see Arvis. You don't see evidence of him. What you do see, though, is a woman stride out of an office and make her way down the stairs, and that's from the left side. And she seemingly, and you see her make her way and then walk into the room you have just invisible out of.
Okay, I just swap places then. I inconspicuously head in that direction.
Okay, we'll return back to Casimir and Quan. You see these two. You see them both disappear. Anything you want to say before? Sorry, Casimir.
I will probably whip around to Casimir and say, "Thank you." And you can see, like, he's visibly sweating hard. The pressure is getting to him. He's wiping it off his brow. He's like, I am not very accustomed to this performance. But was the violence really necessary? Mercy looks like such a sweet child in that form. I couldn't possibly.
No, I'm sorry. I did have a bit of fun with that one. We didn't mean to paint you in a wicked light. It wasn't our intention to come across as unkind to Squire in the eyes of the other. Sorry if. Are you well? You're sweating. You've not contracted an illness, have you?
Crow flu.
Crow plague.
I am just a little uncomfortable in this situation.
Didn't see you this nervous, laying your life on the line to fight Razor.
This is a different type of skill, one that I'm not very experienced in. He's like, and it's rather hot in here. He's like now looking a bit embarrassed now that Casimir's pointed out that he's sweating.
It's not hot at all, I'm afraid. He'll get a little, I don't know, I'm sure he has a handkerchief or three in different silks, and maybe he'll kind of pat Quan's brow. sort of say, what is it exactly that's making you nervous? Is it the felicitous nature of our endeavour? Remember, we are doing this to prevent a war, save people.
I know that. That is partly the problem, but also I'm not quite like the other paladins here, and
What do you
I
mean?
feel like I should act in a certain way, and I'm just not. It doesn't come naturally to me.
You cannot feel inadequate here, can you? Is that what you're saying?
Inadequate is a strong word. I think perhaps just my memory is affecting, and he's just like scratching his head like.
This has nothing to do with your memory or your knowledge of Tyr's edicts. You are every bit paladin that these men are better. You are just, you speak the truth, but most surprisingly, frankly, from my point of view, do it kindly. That is a trait that these idiots honestly do not exhibit. You need to prove anything to them. You're righteous, virtuous, paragon of what Tyr's true values are. They need to prove themselves to you. Mordecai I saw sniffing powder of a young boy's navel some years back, and these men are sicklers for law to the point of cruelty and violence. He cannot look kindly upon them. Not when he has men like you serving him.
Do I get the sense that Casimir is being genuine?
Yeah, incredibly so. He's not. So you can generally tell when he's being genuine because he's not smirking and he doesn't have a shit-eating grin on his face. When he has a serious expression on, you know he's probably telling the truth.
Quan, at that then, Quan looks visibly more relaxed after that pep talk. And I think he'll probably give you a sort of one-armed hug if nobody's kind of watching. Just, I appreciate that, Casimir.
Don't mention it. It's fine.
How uncomfortable on a scale of 1 to 10 does Casimir look?
Like
being given a hug.
He's like a cat that's trying to wriggle out of being held. Probably don't want to be seen hugging an obvious necromancer, so go get him. Remember, Mordecai's a shitbag. Don't let him intimidate you.
It's not Mordecai who enters, or at least he doesn't enter alone. Because first and foremost walks in someone who introduces himself very quickly as High Canoness Esmeralda Stone. Seems to be in her early 50s, tall, commanding presence, very sharp, angular features, grey hair kind of pulled back into a tight bun. Eyes are grey rather than golden. And posture, outfit, incredibly well detailed, incredibly, very much the picture of formality. However, when she speaks, she then looked you up and down, and Mordecai's trading quite kind of it walks in afterwards and says, hello and welcome to I suppose I've never really actually given it a name, our little slice of Zenith here. Anya was just telling me that you are both here to represent Ilara Lumina. Is that correct?
We are here as her close allies, yes. We share a similar mission as we did under her command to see the likes of Razor and adjacent to her evil machinations put in the ground.
Prevention of evil and the rising up of those who are worthy. I have been fortunate enough to meet Ilara in her studies. A bright young woman.
Is that so?
I'm sure she will be well for the Stormlands.
You'll be thrilled to hear you speak highly of her.
Yes. Probably looks at Quan and... Is everything okay? You look like you need a drink. I understand your squire was sent for one.
I've mopped the sweat off his...
Yeah, I look normal now.
Okay, fine. Very fine.
Now.
It was very good to meet you both. I heard some reports of the tournament that was being held and the mission. Honestly, it seemed quite a long shot, but congratulations are in order.
Only doing our part for the good of Flikai.
And I'm sure the people of the Stormlands will be much happier and justice will prevail now that Alara is in charge.
It is true evil we faced that raises heel. Indeed.
Tell me about it.
I guess this is a question, Artie. How is there any part of our adventure that we would feel was like classified information we wouldn't share? Like the blood mages, would we not talk about that? I don't think we
Yeah.
would.
I think it was
right?
ever implied that we shouldn't talk about it, no?
No, but would we think it was a bad idea to talk?
Maybe the mention that we had to, save our
I
paladin
think
from
that
exploding.
Casimir would only divulge what was known kind of to the public with some elaboration, right?
Yeah.
Like I think all of us in this situation are aware that we don't necessarily want to be on their side depending how this goes. So I don't think
But we
it makes
maybe
sense.
want to keep the avenue open, so we don't want to lie. So it's
Right.
Yeah, I think
Right.
he'll give, like Sai says, public knowledge, but I think he might kind of linger on the point of how many individuals of the Stormlands had been captured. Wasn't particularly clear, for what purpose at first. We investigated, saved a good number of people, etc., etc. Followed her to her, various strongholds, defended
Set
Reed
up a just and
home.
lawful system of government.
Exactly. Made sure that she ruled alongside the resident parties of the Stormlands, the Aarakocra, etc. It was all very wholesome, blah blah blah. So that's the story he's kind of telling.
Yeah, the story. Well, I'm sure one day somebody will turn it into a fascinating read. Fiction or not. I meant whether or not they'd exaggerate. I'm sure everything you told me was correct.
Honestly, it barely needs embellishment. It was quite the battle. Reed Holmes' defense was a great drama, I shall say.
However, as I'm sure you are aware, evil rarely sleeps.
Wait.
It does. I've never heard that addition. It's wise. The General Thorn at this point steps forward. Yes, as I'm sure you are aware, given that you were present at the coronation, that would be correct, yes?
Yes.
Hang on, there were 4 of you.
Ah. It's a little embarrassing. We sent our squire to fetch Quan some water. I'm afraid things got a little heated on account of his attempted dishonesty steps of the ziggurat and his thinking about approach. And as for Sir Podrick, he is quite uncomfortable in conversations like these. He felt that perhaps do better elsewhere, and he retreated outside. It's not from an area where there's politics or discussion with folks such as yourself. I hope you can forgive him for entering and absconding so.
Humility is a virtue. You were there when Abaddon made their decision.
Yes.
And you know what is to come.
Yes. Worldwide war, it would appear.
Well, I am sure that both of you, particularly you, Dr. Kwan, are here to offer your help and aid us with what is to come. We need as many men as we can.
Your struggles are ours as well.
Good. Well, obviously, there's not much issue being here. We'll be able to do your papers, get your uniforms in position, and I mean, given your experience, you'll certainly not come in at private level, but maybe a bit higher.
You must understand. Sorry, is this Esmeralda or
No, this is the general speaking now.
General Mordecai Thorn? We as a group have a rather more unique set of skills.
You can fight, can't you?
Oh, of course we can fight. We can fight very well. But the style of battle I think we are best suited to is often strike force. Where we are good is seeking out particularly powerful individuals and removing them from their seat. That's Razor. I'm not suggesting you send us straight to Abaddon the Despoiler themselves, but generals and the like. I imagine you must be well prepared for war. You are a military nation of great strength. DM, as I say this, okay. Broadly, we know that they detect lies.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Straight
I
up lies,
think I could swing a detect thoughts as I talk about how they are often prepared for war and to like fight, threats to the world?
You can probably get away with it.
I'm gonna slam a detect thoughts on yeah, can you do multiple at once? You can't. I don't think you can upcast it and do it.
It was just one, no?
Who do you pick?
Who do I pick? Do I pick the general or do I pick the second in command of the Ecclesiarchy? I don't know what Arvis has found. Would the general, Vicar General, would I think he was more to do with the army?
He's the one attempting to
100%.
recruit you right now.
Is he
perhaps.
like the army marshal? Like in terms of officials in the Ecclesiarchy, would I think he would be
The
high
Grand
enough clearance?
Commander?
He is like the big boy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna send it on him then. And I'm just gonna give a top level, like, the trigger words will be something along like preparations for war, how long you guys must be standing vigilant against threats, in the world. I'm sure,
This would require him failing a wisdom throw. So with that, he's
Yeah.
obviously focusing on you. He's
There's
focusing
nothing
on
surface
supply
level.
lines, preparation,
Yeah.
logistics, front and foremost of his mind right now. But if you want more than that, you're gonna have to probe deeper.
I'm nervous. Could go badly, but I'm going to do it because it feels like a good opportunity.
Yeah, like when will we have this
Yeah.
opportunity again? But if you fail,
I have dirt. I can do this.
Maybe we die.
not on her.
No, on him. I'm doing it on him.
But babe, either way, the target knows that you are prying into its mind.
I know.
To be clear.
I know. Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So that's a natural 16.
Is he
Plus
a wisdom
3.
class? Fuck. Succeeds.
Succeeds. And with that, as he begins talking, the spell ends.
The second
And
I
he
see
freezes.
his face change, Casimir is gonna say, "Hang on, we've met before, haven't we?" Yes, of course, Vicar General Mordecai Thorn. Didn't we meet?
No. You're going to need to make a different saving throw.
No, but he would say the Sacrament Gala 3 years ago.
Yeah. That's fine. As you begin talking, you need to make a wisdom saving throw, both of you.
Really? Okay.
What is this?
A wisdom. This is a hold person.
Fucking hell.
You're both in range of Quan, though, so remember that.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
16 plus
Our
whatever
rolls,
Quan's
the
bonus.
dice are not
Actually,
with
no,
us
it's
today.
higher than that. It's not.
The dice have really not been with us today, but we always knew this was going to be a.
It's 20 plus Quan's bonus.
4. Is
4.
it wisdom saving throw, did you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. 18.
18. You both succeed. However, it's obviously both thing, and the High Canoness turns and looks confusedly at the general. As Casimir, you are saying that, and you managed to creep through it and resist it.
I'm going to narrow my eyes as I say, the Sacrament Gala 3 years ago. Didn't we spend the night? Of course, you maybe don't remember. I remember it very well. I suggest maybe we catch up later.
Going to need a persuasion roll.
Yeah, I'm going to cast suggestion as I say this. As I suggest that maybe we can talk about things later, just the two of us. Persuasion roll?
You'll need to make. So you can make. Yeah. So he's gonna roll a wisdom saving throw, and you still need to make a persuasion roll in general.
Okay.
Okay. So I rolled another 16.
Do we have some of your rolls? They sound pretty good.
Not good, but it's not bad either. 16.
16. He smiles. I don't think I recall that particular event.
I'd imagine not. Of course.
High Canoness, a moment of your time, please. She looks slightly confused and says, if you wouldn't mind. And they both take a step outside.
Oh, very well.
And Juan and Casimir in a little bit of danger, potentially. Not sure exactly where that's going. Pod making his way to Arvis's room, and Mercy in the serving quarters getting some water. Or where Mercy's about to go. We will leave it there. Slightly dicey.
Dicey is the word.
I didn't think these senior people would still be here.
No.
They've got lives to go to, they've got families.
They're meant to be at this fucking ceremony. Losers.
Some of them are.
Jesus.
Oh, these ones aren't very pious, aren't they? I don't know what's going on.
It's like the deputy prime minister is like schmucking around the embassy.
Yeah.
They've got work to do.
Ceremony is work for a paladin.
Good. Well, I'm gonna press the outro button. See y'all next week.
Bye bye.